Hey everyone, tonight we embark on a journey not to a distant galaxy or a forgotten castle, but to the heart of a civilization often misunderstood, a place brimming with vibrant life and unexpected rhythms. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast, bustling metropolis, its towering pyramids piercing the crisp morning air, canoes laden with goods gliding silently along canals, and the distant rhythmic murmur of thousands of voices rising like a living breath. This isn't just any city, this is Tenochtitlan, the magnificent capital of the Aztec Empire, and we're about to step into its most vibrant artery, the Tlatelolco marketplace. But fair warning, navigating this ancient shopping mall without a modern guide, or perhaps a strong stomach for fermented agave. You probably won't survive this experience unscathed. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now in the comments below. And be sure to like and follow the channel to continue waiting for the next exciting parts of our historical adventures. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The first hint of light, a faint, almost shy blush of pink and orange, begins to paint the eastern horizon. You're not waking to the blare of a car horn or the insistent chirp of a smartphone alarm. Instead, it's a gentler, more organic awakening. You hear the rustle of reeds outside your home built on one of the many chinampas, those ingenious floating gardens that anchor much of Tenochtitlan's agricultural life. The air is cool, carrying the fresh scent of lake water and damp earth mingled with the distant, sweet aroma of burning copal incense already rising from the city's countless altars. This is dawn's first light, and with it comes the quiet, purposeful stirrings of a civilization preparing for another day. You push aside your simple woven mat, feeling the cool, packed earth floor beneath your bare feet. Your home, though humble, is efficient, designed for the rhythms of this unique island city. The sounds are subtle at first, the distant dip of a paddle as an early canoe glides along a nearby canal, the sleepy clucking of turkeys, a primary domestic animal, by the way, or the soft murmur of voices from a neighboring chinampa as families begin their morning chores. It's a far cry from the cacophony of a modern city at rush hour. Soon, though, the activity begins to ramp up, especially for those destined for the market. You hear the rhythmic pat-pat-pat of maize being ground on a metate, already transforming into dough for tortillas, the staple of life here. The sweet, earthy smell of cooking maize begins to drift on the breeze, a comforting aroma that signals the start of the day's sustenance. Families gather quickly, not for a leisurely breakfast, but a functional one, fueling up for the journey ahead. For many, especially the thousands of vendors who will populate the great market of Tlatelolco, this pre-dawn bustle is crucial. They are preparing their wares, carefully arranging bundles of herbs, tying up live birds, or packing fragile pottery onto sturdy backs. The journey to the market often begins in these quiet early hours, taking advantage of the cool air and the still sleepy canals. Historians still argue whether the Aztec urban population was entirely fed by the Chinampa system or if extensive tribute from conquered territories was the primary food source for Tenochtitlan. It's a fascinating debate, but either way, that food had to get to the market. You might see your neighbors already laden heading towards the main thoroughfares or the nearest canal entrance. Some carry baskets overflowing with ripe tomatoes or chili peppers. Others balance intricate featherwork on their heads with astonishing grace. There's a quiet determination in their movements, a focused energy that isn't rushed but deeply intentional. Everyone has a purpose, a role to play in the vast economic engine of the city. It's like watching a giant ancient assembly line, but everyone is a master craftsman and the product is life itself. A quirky fact about Aztec daily life. Did you know that bathing was a very common practice, almost a daily ritual, even among commoners? They used temazcali, or sweat lodges, for cleansing and purification. So while the marketplace might get a bit aromatic, later in the day at least everyone started out fresh. It's kind of ironic when you think about medieval Europe, where bathing wasn't quite as high on the priority list. Makes you wonder who was really living the clean life, doesn't it? As the sun peaks over the distant volcanoes, casting long, dramatic shadows across the lake, the city slowly comes alive. Smoke plumes from countless hearths and incense burners rising into the clear morning sky. The soft sounds of dawn begin to yield to the murmur of human activity, a growing tide of voices, footsteps, and the gentle lapping of water against canoe hulls. You can feel the energy building, a subtle hum of anticipation for the grand stage that is Tlatelolco. You might take a deep breath, inhaling the complex scents of the city, and prepare yourself for the sensory feast that awaits. The journey has just begun, and the marketplace beckons, already a symphony of sights and sounds, even from a distance. The first rays of sunlight are now painting the eastern side of the great temple pyramids of Tenochtitlan, turning their stone faces to a warm gold. But you, as a vendor or an early shopper, aren't focused on the monumental architecture just yet. Your attention is firmly on the shimmering expanse of Lake Texcoco, which at this hour is becoming a highway of human ingenuity, the Rock Canal commute. Imagine pushing off from your chinampa or a small dock near the city's edge in a canoe akali. It's not some flimsy pleasure craft, but a sturdy, often flat-bottomed vessel perfectly designed for navigating the shallow waters and dense network of canals that crisscross this incredible island city. The water still cool from the night laps gently against the sides of your boat, a soothing rhythmic sound that accompanies the quiet dipping of your paddle. This is your morning rush hour, but instead of honking horns and exhaust fumes, it's the whisper of water and the rustle of reeds. You're not alone. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of canoes are now converging on the main waterways that lead towards Tlatelolco, the great market in the northern part of the city. Some are small, carrying a single vendor with a basket of fresh produce. Others are long and heavily laden, piled high with goods, bundles of vibrant textiles, stacks of gleaming pottery cages filled with live turkeys, or enormous gourds overflowing with dried chili peppers. It's a logistical marvel, a silent, efficient ballet of trade, all happening on the water. Historians still argue whether the pre-Hispanic Mesoamerican road network was as extensive and well-maintained as its canal system, but the sheer volume of waterborne traffic to Tenochtitlan certainly suggests an unparalleled aquatic infrastructure. The air here is fresh, carrying the scent of the lake and the distant growing aromas of the city. You might pass other vendors, their faces illuminated by the rising sun, offering a quiet greeting or a nod of recognition. There's a sense of shared purpose, a collective journey towards the economic heart of the empire. You might even see a pachteka, a long-distance merchant. We'll learn more about them later, in a larger, more ornate canoe, carrying precious goods from distant lands. His vessel would be sleek, perhaps, with carved prows distinguishing him from the everyday market-goer. A quirky fact about Aztec canoes: while many were simple dugout canoes, they also used larger, more complex vessels for transport, sometimes capable of carrying several tons of goods. Imagine rowing something that massive. Your arms would be aching more than after a particularly intense arm day at the gym. It puts a whole new spin on commuter traffic, doesn't it? The journey is often peaceful, a quiet meditation before the sensory explosion of the market itself. The rhythmic pull of the paddle, the gentle rocking of the canoe, the vastness of the lake stretching out around you. It's a calming start to a potentially chaotic day. You might observe the diverse landscape, the Chinampa's meticulously cultivated plots of land, floating like intricate green rafts, the distant silhouette of the city's stone buildings growing ever clearer, and the shimmering reflections of the sky on the water's surface. It's a truly unique urban environment, unlike anything you've ever experienced. As you near the market area, the canals widen and the density of canoes increases. The quiet lapping of water gives way to a low murmur of voices growing steadily louder. The scents change, too, from fresh lake air to the mingled aromas of cooking food, exotic spices, and the sheer press of humanity. You start to navigate through the thickening traffic, carefully avoiding collisions, your paddle becoming an extension of your will, guiding your laden canoe through the aquatic maze. It's a bit like a serene, ancient version of bumper cars, but with real consequences for your fragile pottery. This intricate network of canals and the reliance on canoes weren't just a convenient mode of transport. They were fundamental to Tenochtitlan's existence, allowing it to sustain its enormous population and connect to a wider trading network. You are a part of that living system, a small but vital component in the daily flow of goods and lifeblood that nourish the Aztec capital. As your canoe finally bumps gently against one of the many market docks, You can feel the energy of Tlatelolco pulling you in, ready to spill your wares onto its vibrant floor. The water journey is over and the market adventure is about to begin. You've docked your canoe, the gentle lapping of the lake water, now replaced by the growing murmur of human voices. But not all goods nor all people arrive at Tlatelolco by water. For thousands of others, the journey is far more arduous, a test of pure strength and relentless endurance. We're talking about the Bush Porter's burden, carried by the Telamemes, the backbone of Aztec overland trade. Imagine seeing them now, a steady stream of figures emerging from the city's causeways, or from the mainland roads that stretch for miles across the Valley of Mexico. Each Telememe is a walking warehouse bent under the weight of an incredible load. They carry their burdens using a mecapal, a tumpline strap that goes across their forehead, distributing the weight to their powerful neck and back muscles. Their posture is distinctive, a forward lean that allows them to balance loads that would crush a modern person. It's like seeing a human forklift, but one that relies purely on tortillas and grit. These aren't just local deliveries. The Aztec Empire, stretching across vast and varied landscapes, depended entirely on human porters. There were no beasts of burden like horses, mules, or oxen, a mainstream historical fact you might have heard before. Every single item, from precious jade and shimmering quetzal feathers to bulky cotton bales and heavy ceramic pots, had to be carried on someone's back. This constant physical exertion shaped not just their bodies but their entire existence. Historians still argue whether the Telememes were free laborers or if their service was a form of tribute, but their vital role in the Aztec economy is undisputed. As you watch them, their bare feet slapping rhythmically against the stone causeway, you can almost feel the strain in your own shoulders. Their faces are often expressionless eyes fixed on the path ahead, conserving energy. Their bodies are lean-corded with muscle, a testament to a lifetime of carrying immense loads over long distances, often in challenging terrain. They might carry simple woven mats, bundles of dried fish from the coast, or sacks of cacao beans, the very currency of this vibrant market. A quirky fact about Wootlamemes: some porters could carry loads weighing up to 50, 60 pounds for distances of 15 miles or more per day. Imagine carrying your entire week's groceries for that distance on your head without a wheeled cart. You'd probably need a week off just to recover. It puts your morning commute into perspective, doesn't it? My back hurts just thinking about it. The sounds they make are minimal. The soft thud of their footsteps, the occasional grunt of effort, perhaps the rustle of the leaves or fibers wrapped around their cargo. There's a quiet dignity to their labor, a sense of deep purpose. They are connecting distant communities, bringing goods from highland forests to lowland coasts, and ultimately ensuring that the great market of Tlatelolco remains fully stocked with every conceivable item. You might notice the variety of their loads. Some carry delicate, carefully wrapped bundles of precious goods, perhaps featherwork or obsidian blades, indicating their role as specialized carriers for powerful merchants. Others bear more mundane, bulky items that speak to the daily needs of the city's vast population. Each load tells a story of its origin, its journey, and its ultimate destination. As the sun climbs higher, intensifying the heat, the work of the Tlememes becomes even more grueling. Sweat glistens on their skin, their breathing deep and even. Yet they continue their steady pace, a human conveyor belt, tirelessly feeding the insatiable demand of the metropolis. They are the arteries of trade, pumping goods into the very heart of the empire. When they finally reach the market, their faces might show a fleeting flicker of relief as they carefully set down their burdens. Their muscles, however, will continue to ache. This isn't just a job. It's a way of life, a constant engagement with the physical demands of a society built on human power. As you step fully into the market, surrounded by the incredible abundance, remember the silent, powerful effort of the Tlememes, whose tireless journeys brought this richness to your feet. They are the unsung heroes of Aztec commerce, carrying the weight of an empire one step, one heavy load at a time. The rhythmic slap of bare feet on stone, the rustle of carried burdens, the sounds of the Tlememes are fading behind you now. You've arrived. You stand at the precipice of Tlatelolco, the greatest market in all of Mesoamerica, and the energy is palpable. This is where the city truly breathes, where the empire's vast wealth and intricate social fabric are on full display. This is the moment the market gates open. Imagine the scene, not a single grand archway, but multiple entrances, each bustling with an eager crowd. These aren't turnstiles or automatic doors. They are manned by market officials ensuring order and collecting certain dues. The air here is already a swirling tapestry of scents, freshly cooked tortillas, pungent chili sweet fruits, the earthy smell of pottery, and the occasional sharp tang of incense. It's an olfactory overload, a preview of the sensory feast to come. As you step inside, the low murmur you heard from a distance swells into a magnificent roar. It's the sound of thousands of human voices, a living, breathing hum that vibrates through the very ground. You are immediately enveloped by the sheer press of humanity. People of all stations fill the vast plaza, commoners in simple cotton tunics, bustling merchants, curious, potential long-distance traders with their distinctive regalia, and even the occasional warrior or noble observing the scene. Everyone comes to Tlatelolco. The initial influx of vendors is a controlled explosion of activity. Those who arrive by canoe from the canals, remember Section 2, are now carefully offloading their goods. The Tlamemes from Section 3 are laying down their heavy burdens, perhaps stretching aching muscles before seeking a place to sell their own meager wares, or simply to purchase supplies for their return journey. Each vendor has a designated spot, a privilege earned or rented, meticulously arranged with their specific goods. There's no sprawling chaos, but rather an intricate, almost overwhelming order. Historians still argue whether the physical layout of Tlatelolco, particularly its zoning of goods, was primarily for efficiency or social control, but its meticulous organization is well documented by early Spanish accounts. You might find yourself trying to take it all in at once, your head swiveling from side to side. To your left, a mountain of vibrant red chili peppers. To your right, a pile of intricately woven baskets. The sheer diversity of goods is astonishing, a testament to the vast reach of the Aztec Empire and its intricate trading networks. It's like wandering through the biggest, most colorful outdoor mall you could possibly imagine, but every single item is handcrafted and ethically sourced, probably a quirky fact about the market's early morning ritual. Before the official opening, market officials or priests might have performed a brief ceremony or offering, perhaps burning copal incense, to invite prosperity and order to the day's trade. So it wasn't just about unlocking gates, it was about blessing the entire economic endeavor. Imagine if your local grocery store had a morning blessing before opening the doors. It would certainly add a certain spiritual gravitas to your cereal run. The sunlight, now brighter, begins to stream into the vast open space, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air and highlighting the vibrant colors of the goods on display. The energy is infectious. You feel a pull, an almost magnetic force drawing you deeper into the labyrinth of stalls and pathways. The distinct sections of the market, each dedicated to a specific type of good, begin to reveal themselves. You can already hear the cacophony of bartering and the calls of vendors, a symphony of commerce that will only intensify as the day progresses. This is more than just a place to buy and sell. Tlatelolco is the public square, the news hub, the fashion show, and the cultural melting pot of the Aztec world. It's where different communities interact, where trends are set, and where the pulse of the empire can truly be felt. As you take your first tentative steps into this incredible arena, you realize that you're not just a passive observer. You're a participant in one of history's greatest marketplaces, ready to immerse yourself in its rhythmic, calming chaos. The gates are open and the day's trade has begun. You're fully immersed now, the vibrant energy of Tlatelolco swirling around you, the cacophony of voices, the kaleidoscope of colors. It's all a dizzying delight. As you navigate the crowded pathways, you begin to notice something peculiar. While people are certainly exchanging goods, you don't hear the jingle of coins or the rustle of paper money. Instead, the transactions are often accompanied by the quiet chink of small, smooth shells or the gentle pour of a handful of beans. This is your introduction to what cacao currency. Cacao. Yes, that's right. The very same cacao that gives us chocolate today was for the Aztecs a form of money. Imagine that. Your morning latte could buy you a small basket of fresh fruit or perhaps a new set of sandals. These aren't finely minted coins. They are raw, unprocessed cacao beans, carefully counted out by hand. The quality and size of the beans mattered, of course, A shriveled or damaged bean was worth less much like a crumpled dollar bill. Historians still argue whether cacao beans functioned as a true universal currency or more as a highly liquid commodity that could be easily exchanged, but their widespread use in market transactions is undeniable. You might see a vendor carefully pouring a handful of beans from a small woven bag into the buyer's outstretched palm, both parties meticulously counting. For larger transactions, especially for more valuable goods, you'd encounter another form of currency: quills of gold dust. These were translucent quills, often from bird feathers filled with finely ground gold. Imagine a tiny precious straw full of shimmering golden powder. These were for the big-ticket items, the equivalent of a medieval high-value banknote. You definitely wouldn't be buying a handful of chili peppers with one of these. The use of these natural forms of currency speaks volumes about the Aztec economy. It wasn't based on abstract metals or government-printed paper, but on tangible, often consumable goods. It made sense in a society where agriculture and tribute were paramount. It also meant that if you were feeling peckish during a long day of shopping, your money could literally be eaten, though you'd probably have to be quite desperate as their value as currency far outweighed their immediate nutritional content. Well, I could buy that new cloak, or I could have a very expensive snack. You might ponder a very ancient form of budget dilemma. A quirky fact about cacao beans as currency: because they were so valuable, counterfeiting was a real problem. Clever individuals would sometimes hollow out cacao beans and refill them with dirt or avocado pits. Imagine trying to spot a fake bean in a pile of hundreds. It makes you realize that economic fraud is definitely not a modern invention. They had their own version of funny money way back then. The exchange process is deliberate, unhurried. There's no swipe of a card, no digital transfer. It's a tactile human interaction. The weighing of the beans in your hand, the careful inspection of a quill of gold dust. These are moments of trust and negotiation, fundamental to the rhythm of the marketplace. You learn quickly that a keen eye and a steady hand are just as important as a good grasp of numbers. You might observe a seller of vibrant featherwork accepting a handful of gold dust quills, or a buyer of exquisite pottery carefully counting out a pile of cacao beans. The sounds of these transactions are subtle, a quiet counterpoint to the louder calls of vendors and the general murmur of the crowd. It's a gentle chink, a soft rustle, the quiet sound of wealth changing hands. As you wander through the market, the sheer volume of cacao beans and gold quills changing hands is astonishing. It underscores the immense wealth and economic activity flowing through Tlatelolco. It reminds you that even without coins or banks, complex economies can thrive, built on trust, natural resources, and the ingenuity of people. You might even find yourself instinctively assessing the quality of a cacao bean before making a purchase, a subtle adaptation to this unique monetary system. This fascinating exchange system is just one more layer in the rich tapestry of the Aztec marketplace. With the intriguing concept of cacao currency rattling in your mind, and perhaps a few beans clinking in your metaphorical pocket, you drift deeper into Tlatelolco. The air here changes, taking on a softer, earthier scent, mingled with a subtle sweetness. You've entered the section dedicated to one textile tapestry, a vibrant riot of color and texture that immediately catches your eye. Imagine rows upon rows of finely woven cloths draped over wooden poles, laid out on mats, or simply held aloft by eager vendors. The dominant materials are cotton and agave fiber. Cotton, soft and luxurious, often comes from warmer lowland regions, brought by those tireless tlamemes we encountered in Section 3. Its presence here speaks of the vast reach of the Aztec trading network, a silent testament to conquest and commerce. The agave fiber, coarser and more durable, is woven from the maguey plant, a versatile staple of Mesoamerican life, that also provides pulque, a fermented drink, and building materials. The colors are simply breathtaking. Forget the muted tones often associated with European medieval textiles. Here you see deep, rich indigos derived from indigo plants, vibrant cochineal reds from crushed insects, believe it or not, sunny yellows from marigolds or turmeric, and earthy browns and greens from various plant dyes. These aren't just plain swaths of fabric. Many are intricately woven with geometric patterns, stylized animals, or abstract designs. Some feature complex brocade work, where different colored threads create raised patterns that catch the light. It's like walking through a living, breathing art gallery, but everything is wearable. You might run your fingers over a particularly soft cotton cloak, admiring the tightness of the weave, a testament to the artisan's skill. Or perhaps you'll marvel at a sturdy agave fiber carrying cloth, knowing it could withstand years of heavy use. These textiles weren't just for clothing. They served many purposes: blankets carrying wraps for goods, or even baby ceremonial cloths and wall hangings. They were as fundamental to daily life as the maize in your pottage. Historians still argue whether the Aztec long-distance merchants had a monopoly on the trade of luxury textiles, or if local artisans also had significant direct access to the market. But the sheer volume and diversity of fabrics available suggest a highly organized and productive textile industry, with skilled weavers scattered throughout the empire and beyond. It was a complex supply chain from cotton field to bustling market stall. A quirky fact about Aztec textiles: the Aztecs used a fascinating technique called tie-dyeing, known as ikat, long before it became a hippie fashion statement in the 20th century. This involved tying off sections of the threads before dyeing them, creating intricate patterns when woven. So if you're ever feeling like your ancient Aztec wardrobe is a bit drab, just remember they had patterns that would make a modern fashion designer jealous. Talk about being ahead of their time, huh? The vendors in this section are often women, their fingers nimble from a lifetime of weaving. They might sit behind their piles of cloth, calmly mending a loose thread, or demonstrating a particular weaving technique. Their voices are softer than some of the more boisterous food vendors, inviting you to inspect the quality of their wares with a gentle melodic tone. There's a quiet pride in their work, a palpable sense of craftsmanship that permeates the air. You might even consider a purchase, a new cloak perhaps, or colorful loincloth. The bartering here is as intricate as the weaves themselves, a delicate dance of negotiation, using cacao beans or other goods. You assess the quality, the dye fastness, the intricacy of the pattern, weighing it against the value of your own wares or currency. It's a personal transaction, a connection between producer and consumer that feels far more intimate than simply grabbing something off a shelf. As you move deeper into the textile section, the subtle parchment texture of our illuminated manuscript miniature seems to soften the edges of the vibrant colors, reminding us of the artistic lens through which we're viewing this ancient scene. The air is warm, the light is bright, and the sheer artistry on display is a testament to the skill and creativity of the Aztec people. This is more than just clothing. It's a statement of culture, of identity, and of the enduring beauty of human craftsmanship. From the captivating colors of the textile section, you drift further into the heart of Tlatelolco. Here the air seems to shimmer with an almost otherworldly luminescence, and your eyes are drawn to displays that defy easy description. You've entered the realm of feathered wonders, where the most exquisite and highly valued art of the Aztec Empire is on full display. Imagine seeing these creations for the first time. Not just simple feathers, but intricate featherwork, meticulously assembled into breathtaking mosaics, cloaks, shields, and headdresses. The colors are unbelievably vibrant, a spectrum of jewel tones, iridescent greens from the quetzal bird, fiery reds from the spoonbill, brilliant blues from the cotinga, and sunny yellows from various tropical species. These aren't dyed feathers. These are the natural hues of exotic birds, painstakingly collected, sorted, and arranged by master artisans. The skill involved is astonishing. Each individual feather, sometimes no larger than a fingernail, is carefully glued onto a backing of agave fiber or cotton, creating seamless, almost painted surfaces. You lean closer, trying to discern the individual feathers, but the artistry is so precise that they blend into a continuous, shimmering whole. It's like a painting, but one made entirely of living light. Historians still argue whether the Aztec imperial court maintained vast aviaries specifically for feather production, or if most feathers were acquired through tribute and long-distance trade. Either way, these pieces represented immense wealth and power. These weren't everyday garments. Featherwork was reserved for the highest echelons of Aztec society, the emperor, elite warriors, powerful priests, and the most esteemed nobles. A quetzal feather cloak, for instance, could be worth more than a lifetime's earnings for a commoner. Its brilliance communicated status, prestige, and connection to the divine. Imagine wearing something so exquisitely beautiful that it practically glows. It's like stepping out in a custom-made outfit that's also a piece of fine art, except your fine art constantly tries to fly away. The vendors in this section often themselves master featherworkers or specialized pachteca. Those long-distance merchants we mentioned, remember, speak in hushed, reverent tones about their wares. They might gently unfurl a shimmering banner or carefully display a warrior's plumed helmet, inviting you to appreciate the intricate details. The atmosphere here is quieter, more refined, a stark contrast to the boisterous haggling in other parts of the market. This is where serious wealth changes hands, often in large quantities of cacao beans or quills of gold dust, which we talked about in Section 5. A quirky fact about Quetzal feathers. The magnificent tail feathers of the male Quetzal bird, prized above all others for their iridescent green color, could only be collected after the bird naturally molted them. Killing the bird for its feathers was forbidden. So imagine a whole industry built around patiently waiting for a bird to drop its best outfit. It's like waiting for a celebrity to discard their red carpet gown, but with more patience and considerably less paparazzi. The scent in this section is subtle, perhaps a faint aroma of dried reeds from the backing, or the clean earthy smell of the feathers themselves. The light catches the iridescent surface of the Quetzal feathers, making them shift color with every subtle movement from emerald green to deep sapphire. It's a living, breathing display of natural beauty transformed by human artistry. As you gaze upon these incredible pieces, you feel a profound sense of awe. These aren't just decorative objects. They are symbols of power, of spiritual connection, and of the Aztecs' deep reverence for the natural world. Each feather tells a story of distant lands, painstaking labor, and unparalleled artistic skill. To own such a piece was to literally wear the wealth and prestige of an empire. As you move on, the shimmering memory of these feathered wonders remains a dazzling reminder of the extraordinary craftsmanship that flourished in Tlatelolco. From the shimmering elegance of featherwork, you move into a section of the market where the air feels sharper, cooler, almost brittle. This isn't the gentle beauty of textiles or feathers. This is where utility meets deadly precision. You've entered the domain of mass obsidian edge, a vital and formidable commodity in the Aztec world. Imagine stalls piled high with gleaming, jet-black stone. Not just rough chunks, but finely flaked blades, spearheads, daggers, and even longer, razor-sharp swords, makuahuitl, with obsidian blades embedded along their edges. The material is obsidian, a volcanic glass that, when fractured, produces an edge many times sharper than a surgeon's steel scalpel. Its surface, smooth and reflective, absorbs the market light, creating an almost menacing glint. It's beautiful in its starkness, but terrifying in its potential. These aren't just weapons. Obsidian was also crucial for everyday tools. You'd see knives for cutting meat and vegetables, razors for shaving. Yes, they shaved, and specialized tools for intricate crafts like featherwork or carving. Its widespread use highlights a key mainstream historical fact. The Aztecs, like other Mesoamerican civilizations, did not utilize metal for tools or weaponry in the same way Old World cultures did, relying instead on obsidian, chert, and basalt. This meant their technology, while different, was incredibly advanced for Stone Age materials. Imagine having a knife that's sharper than anything you've ever used, but it's made of glass. Sounds like a recipe for a very careful chef. The vendors here are often skilled artisans themselves, or pochteca, who specialize in this particular trade. They handle the obsidian with practiced care, demonstrating its incredible sharpness by slicing through a piece of leather or a stalk of agave fiber with effortless ease. The sound here is subtle, the gentle chink of blades being handled, the low murmurs of negotiation, perhaps the soft thwip as a vendor tests an edge. It's a quieter section imbued with a sense of serious purpose. A quirky fact about obsidian. Archaeologists have found that ancient Mesoamerican surgeons actually used obsidian scalpels for delicate medical procedures, including brain surgery. Imagine undergoing brain surgery with a glass knife. It makes you appreciate modern medical technology just a little bit more, doesn't it? Talk about having steady hands. The origin of this obsidian is fascinating. It's not found everywhere. Much of the highest quality obsidian was quarried from specific volcanic regions, sometimes hundreds of miles away from Tenochtitlán. Its presence here in such abundance is a testament to the efficient long-distance trade routes and the extensive control the Aztec Empire exerted over its resources. These were no casual finds. This was a strategic commodity essential for both daily life and imperial warfare. Historians still argue whether certain obsidian sources were monopolized by the Aztec state or if independent trade routes for the material persisted throughout the empire. As you gaze at the rows of obsidian blades, you realize the duality of this material. It represents both life and death, creation and destruction. It is the tool that carves intricate works of art and the weapon that strikes down enemies. Its stark beauty is undeniable, a testament to the raw power of the earth transformed by human skill. The air might carry a faint metallic scent, perhaps from the dust of flaked obsidian, mingled with the general market aromas. The light glints off the dark mirror-like surfaces, creating a mesmerizing display of sharpness. As you move on from this formidable section, you carry with you a new appreciation for the ingenuity of a civilization that mastered stone in ways others mastered metal, carving out an empire with a blade as sharp as glass. The obsidian edge truly defines a unique aspect of Aztec daily life and power. From the sharp, silent glint of obsidian, you transition to a section of Tlatelolco that offers a different kind of beauty, one that speaks of hearth and home, of daily meals and ceremonial offerings. You've entered the vibrant realm of pottery and ceramics. Imagine stalls overflowing with an astonishing array of clay wares, from the simplest unadorned cooking pots to exquisitely decorated ceremonial vessels. The air here is earthy, carrying the scent of baked clay, sometimes mingled with the faint aroma of the foods that these vessels once held or are destined to hold. You see utilitarian pieces, wide, shallow comales, for cooking tortillas, sturdy storage jars of all sizes, and humble drinking cups. These are the workhorses of the Aztec kitchen, essential for daily sustenance. But then your eye catches something else: highly polished, often brightly painted bowls and plates. These aren't just functional, they are works of art. The colors are vibrant, deep reds, brilliant oranges, stark blacks, and creamy whites, often applied in intricate geometric patterns, stylized animal motifs, or depictions of gods and human figures. The designs are bold, confident, a testament to the skill of the potters. It's like walking through a very ancient, very sophisticated homeware store, but without the annoying muzak. A mainstream historical fact for you: the Aztecs, like many Mesoamerican cultures, mastered various pottery techniques, including slip painting, where liquid clay was applied to create designs before firing. This allowed for the vibrant, durable finishes you see on many of the finer pieces. This wasn't just about throwing clay, it was a complex artistic and chemical process. The sheer volume of pottery on display suggests a highly productive and specialized industry. Different regions of the empire were known for particular styles or types of clay, and their wares traveled far to reach this central market. You might see distinctive orange ware from Cholula or fine black pottery from Texcoco, each with its unique aesthetic. The vendors, often women, sit amidst their wares, their hands perhaps still dusted with clay, calmly discussing the merits of a particular pot or the durability of a new design. Their voices are steady, knowledgeable, reflecting a lifetime of working with this ancient material. You might pick up a small, smooth drinking vessel, feeling its weight, admiring the subtle texture of the clay beneath its polished surface. Perhaps you notice a tiny imperfection, a fingerprint left by the potter, a direct connection to the human hand that shaped it centuries ago. It's a reminder that every object here, even the most mundane, is a product of individual skill and effort. A quirky fact about Aztec pottery: archaeologists have found hollow effigy vessels shaped like animals or human figures, often with whistles incorporated into their design, possibly used for rituals or as children's toys. Imagine trying to explain that to your kids today. Yes, darling, your new toy is a clay owl that makes a shrill whistling sound and was possibly used in a religious ceremony. Enjoy. It puts a whole new spin on playtime, doesn't it? The air in this section carries a subtle, earthy aroma of clay, mingling with the general market scents. The light plays across the varied surfaces, highlighting the glossy sheen of polished vessels and the rougher texture of unglazed pots. The sounds are a gentle counterpoint to the market's roar, the soft chink of one pot against another. the low murmur of transactions, and perhaps the quiet hum of a vendor humming a traditional tune. As you move away from the vibrant displays of pottery you carry with you, an appreciation for the artistry embedded in daily life. These aren't just containers. They are expressions of culture utility and the enduring human desire to shape the earth into objects of beauty and purpose. The pottery and ceramics of Tlatelolco offer a tangible connection to the lives, meals, and rituals of the Aztec people, a calm and reassuring presence amidst the market's dynamic energy. From the earthy solidity of pottery, you move into a section of Tlatelolco where light seems to catch and scatter in 1,000 tiny gleams. The air here feels almost precious, hushed, filled with a sense of reverence for the dazzling objects on display. You've entered the realm of jewelry and ornaments, a testament to the Aztecs' profound artistry and their love for adornment. Imagine seeing these pieces now, not just gold, but vibrant jade, a stone more valued than gold by the Aztecs, its deep green hues polished to an ethereal glow. You see intricate carvings, jade beads pendants shaped like stylized deities or animals, and ear flares that would have adorned the ears of the nobility. Gold, often alloyed with copper, is hammered into delicate filigree elaborate rings, necklaces and pectorals depicting eagles, jaguars, or abstract cosmic symbols. The shimmering yellow of the gold contrasts beautifully with the profound green of the jade, creating a visual feast. And then there's Shellunter, transformed from ocean bounty into objects of exquisite beauty, pearlescent earrings, intricate mosaic inlays, and delicate necklaces made from polished conch and oyster shells gleam under the market light. The natural curves and colors of the shells are exploited by the artisans, creating unique and striking designs. It's like wandering into a museum exhibit, except everything is for sale, and you might need a few canoe loads of cacao beans to afford anything. These ornaments weren't just about beauty, they were powerful symbols of status, wealth, and spiritual connection. The right to wear certain types of jewelry or specific materials like jade was often restricted by social class or achievement. A gold pectoral might signify a high-ranking warrior, while intricate jade ear flares denoted nobility. Historians still argue whether the Aztec imperial state strictly controlled the production and distribution of luxury goods like gold and jade, or if independent artisans and merchants played a more significant role in their widespread availability. The truth likely lies somewhere in the complex interplay of both. The vendors in this section are often master jewelers themselves, their hands gnarled from years of meticulous work, yet capable of astonishing delicacy. They might be polishing a new jade pendant with a piece of leather, or carefully arranging tiny gold beads with tweezers. Their voices are soft, almost reverent, as they describe the origin of a stone or the spiritual significance of a particular design. The atmosphere is one of quiet contemplation, a stark contrast to the lively bartering elsewhere in the market. A quirky fact about Aztec jewelry: gold was so abundant in some regions that commoners might even use small nuggets as weights for scales in market transactions, though it was largely reserved for the elite as adornment. Imagine having a literal gold nugget in your kitchen measuring cup. It puts a whole new spin on precious metals, doesn't it? The light in this section seems almost to bend around the gleaming surfaces, creating subtle reflections and highlights that make the pieces appear almost alive. The sounds are minimal: the gentle chink of a necklace being laid down, the quiet murmur of a customer admiring a bracelet, perhaps the soft breath of a vendor polishing a piece to perfection. As you gaze at a particularly intricate gold ear ornament depicting a coiled serpent, you feel a connection not just to the artisan, but to the very cosmology of the Aztecs. These pieces are more than mere adornments. They are tangible expressions of their worldview, their gods, their understanding of the universe. Each curve, each polished surface, each inlaid shell tells a story. Moving away from the dazzling display, the images of shimmering gold, profound jade, and pearlescent shell linger in your mind's eye. They are a powerful reminder of the incredible artistic skill and the rich material culture that thrived in the heart of the Aztec Empire. Tlatelolco in this section is not just a marketplace, it is a living exhibition of human ingenuity and the timeless pursuit of beauty, even when that beauty is destined for the elite. Having lingered among the dazzling golds and jades, your nose now guides you to a section of Tlatelolco where the colors burst forth with an entirely different kind of vibrancy, and the air is thick with the earthy, sweet, and pungent aromas of the land. You've arrived at the heart of daily sustenance, the fresh produce piles, home. Imagine mountains of maize, not just kernels, but entire cobs, their husks pulled back to reveal plump, glistening yellow, white, and even blue grains. Some stalls offer dried maize ready for grinding, while others display fresh masa dough prepared and ready to be patted into tortillas. This is the bedrock of the Aztec diet, and its abundance here is truly awe-inspiring. You might see a vendor, their hands dusted with white flour, expertly husking a cob with swift practiced movements. Beside the maize, you encounter vast quantities of beans of every conceivable color, black, white, red, speckled. Piled high in woven baskets, they represent another fundamental pillar of sustenance. And then there are the maquash, huge round gourds with thick ridged skins, ranging from pale green to deep orange, their earthy scent grounding the more vibrant aromas. You see smaller delicate squash, blossoms too gathered for their tender texture and subtle flavor. But what truly electrifies the air in your nostrils are the chili peppers. Red, green, yellow, orange, fresh dried, smoked powdered, piles of them from tiny fiery chiltepins to long, slender serranos and wide smoky pasillas. The sheer variety is dizzying. The aroma is sharp, pungent, and promises a delightful kick to any meal. It's like walking into the spiciest, freshest farmer's market you could possibly imagine, but everything is piled in pyramids instead of neat little rows. A mainstream historical fact for you. Maize corn was the cornerstone of the Aztec diet, forming over 80% of their caloric intake, supplemented by bean squash and chili. This Mesoamerican triad provided a remarkably complete nutritional profile. So if you ever wonder what kept an empire running, it was pretty much the original superfood combo. You might see vendors carefully arranging their produce, perhaps wiping a smudge off a perfect tomato, or neatly stacking ears of corn. Their voices are loud, melodic, calling out the freshness of their goods, inviting you to inspect the quality. Fresh maize, just from the chinampas. One might cry, gesturing to the gleaming kernels. The energy here is palpable, a vibrant buzz of essential commerce. A quirky fact about Aztec food preservation. They used sun-drying extensively for fruits, vegetables, and even meat and fish. Imagine a giant natural dehydrator in the marketplace, preserving the harvest for the lean months. It's like their version of a walk-in freezer, but powered by the sun and a lot of patience. Historians still argue whether the Aztec diet was truly vegetarian-dominated, or if meat consumption, even if rare for commoners, played a more significant role in their overall nutrition than previously thought. However, the sheer quantity of plant-based staples in the market certainly tells a story of a predominantly agrarian society. As you wander through this vibrant section, the colors seem to shift and dance in the bright sunlight. The reds of the chili peppers bleed into the greens of fresh herbs. The yellows of squash contrast with the deep black of certain bean varieties. The sounds are a constant hum of transaction, a symphony of need and fulfillment. You hear the rustle of husks, the soft thud of a gourd being placed in a basket, and the rhythmic counting of cacao beans, or the exchange of textiles for a week's worth of vegetables. You realize that this section of Tlatelolco is not just about trade, it's about life itself. It's where the hard labor of the farmers, those chinampa cultivators we saw in Section 1, and then tlamims, who carried goods from afar in Section 3, comes directly to the tables of the city. The freshness, the abundance, the sheer diversity, it's a testament to the agricultural prowess and sophisticated distribution network of the Aztec Empire. As you move on, your senses are invigorated by the earthy aromas and the vibrant colors, carrying with you the undeniable impression of a thriving, well-fed populace. You've just left the impressive piles of staple crops, your senses still tingling from the scent of fresh chilies and maize. Now, as you turn a corner, the air takes on a sweeter, more fragrant quality, and your eyes are delighted by splashes of vibrant color. You've entered the section devoted to one exotic fruits, a true tropical paradise nestled within the bustling heart of Tlatelolco. Imagine seeing these fruits laid out on woven mats or piled high in wide, shallow baskets. Many are familiar to your modern eye, but some are utterly alien, their shapes and hues hinting at distant warmer lands. You spot perfectly ripe Cacao Avocados. Their dark, bumpy skin promising a creamy, rich interior. They aren't just a trendy toast topping here. They are a vital source of fat and nutrition, often simply scooped out and eaten. Beside them, the vibrant orange and pink flesh of papayas glows under the market light, their sweet, musky aroma, a delightful contrast to the earthy produce you just saw. You might even glimpse smaller, more delicate isono berries of various kinds, perhaps tiny tart capullin cherries, or the sweet translucent fruits of the prickly pear cactus, carefully despined. But the sheer variety goes beyond the familiar. There might be spiky soursops, their green bumpy exteriors hiding a creamy sweet tart pulp, or perhaps the vibrant juicy mamey with its reddish-brown skin and rich salmon-colored flesh. These fruits, often coming from the warmer lowlands of the empire, represent the incredible biodiversity that the Aztec trade network tapped into. It's like discovering a secret ancient fruit stand that only stocks the most amazing fresh produce years before Dole ever thought of a pineapple. A mainstream historical fact for you: Tenochtitlan's unique location, connected by causeways to the mainland and extensive trading routes, allowed it access to an incredible diversity of foodstuffs from various ecological zones across Mesoamerica. This marketplace was a true testament to the empire's logistical prowess. It truly was the ancient world's grand central market for all things delicious and exotic. The vendors in this section are often from these warmer regions, their clothing perhaps a bit lighter, their skin tanned by the lowland sun. They might speak in dialects slightly different from the Nahuatl spoken in Tenochtitlan, adding to the cultural richness of the market. They offer samples with a welcoming smile, inviting you to taste the sun-drenched sweetness of their wares. Taste this straight from the coast, my friend, ripe as the morning sun. You might hear them call out, their voices bright and inviting. A quirky fact about Aztec fruit consumption: they had a specific type of plum called ciruela, which was often fermented into an alcoholic beverage, in addition to being eaten fresh. So not only could you buy your fruit, but you could also buy your fruit wine right there at the market. It sounds like a very efficient way to combine your grocery run with happy hour. Just don't mix up your plums. Historians still argue whether the consumption of these diverse fruits was widespread among all social classes, or if many of the rarer tropical varieties were primarily reserved for the elite. However, their presence in such abundance in the market suggests at least some level of accessibility for those with the means to purchase them. You might see a commoner carefully selecting a single perfect avocado, or a noble servant filling a large basket with a colorful assortment of rare sapotes for their lord's table. The air here is fragrant, a delightful blend of sweet and tangy aromas, mingling with the general hum of the market. The sunlight, perhaps feeling a little warmer in this section, illuminates the vibrant hues of the fruits, making them seem almost impossibly rich and inviting. The sounds are softer, a gentle rustle of leaves, the quiet murmur of appreciation from customers, and the soft exchange of cacao beans for a precious piece of tropical bounty. As you reluctantly move on from this vibrant oasis, the memory of the sweet aromas and rich colors lingers. The exotic fruits of Tlatelolco are more than just food. They are tangible links to distant lands, a sensory journey across the diverse landscapes of the Aztec Empire. They offer a taste of far-off sun and soil, a delightful contrast to the familiar staples, and a sweet reminder of the interconnectedness of this ancient world. Having indulged in the sweet exotic fruits of distant lands, your journey through Tlatelolco now brings you to a more primal section, one defined by a different kind of sustenance. The air changes here, carrying a distinct savory aroma that might surprise you. You've arrived at the protein corner, where the lifeblood of the Aztec diet beyond its plant-based staples is on full display. Imagine seeing live animals and freshly butchered cuts laid out in designated stalls. The primary source of domesticated meat for the Aztecs was the turkey quetzalcoatl. You'll see live turkeys, their wattles bobbing, clucking softly in woven cages, waiting to be chosen. Beside them, perhaps, are prepared cuts of turkey meat, ready for cooking their lean flesh, promising a savory meal. These birds were a cornerstone of their animal husbandry, providing not just meat but also eggs and feathers. Another surprising but historically accurate source of protein here is the archidog akki. It's coently. Yes, you heard that right. A specific breed of hairless dog was raised for consumption, a mainstream historical fact that often raises eyebrows today. You might see these dogs plump and docile in designated pens, their presence a stark reminder of the cultural differences in dietary norms. Historians still argue whether dog meat was a common food for all social classes, or if it was more often reserved for ritualistic feasts or special occasions. Its systematic breeding certainly suggests a deliberate and managed food source. Beyond the land animals, the market also offers a substantial selection of fish. Remember those quiet canal commutes and the hardy fishermen from Section 2 and Section 29, respectively. Their efforts culminate here. You'll see freshwater fish from Lake Texcoco itself, tilapia-like species, small carol, and even eels all laid out fresh on woven mats, sometimes still twitching. For those who can afford it, there might even be salted or dried fish brought from the distant coasts, a valuable commodity preserved for long journeys or times of scarcity. The air here holds the distinct, briny scent of fresh catch mingled with the earthy aroma of raw meat. You might observe a seller, their hands swift and practiced, demonstrating the freshness of a fish or pointing out the quality of a turkey. The sounds are a mix, the occasional gobble of a turkey, the quiet scuffle of a dog, and the murmuring of customers inspecting the goods. This isn't a silent section. There's a purposeful energy, a sense of immediate consumption. A quirky fact about Aztec meat preparation. They often cooked meat in underground ovens called pib, similar to a modern pit barbecue, slow roasting it with hot stones and herbs for incredible tenderness. Imagine your modern barbecue, but fueled by centuries of tradition and earth ovens. It puts a whole new spin on slow cooked, doesn't it? The availability of these protein sources, while not as dominant as maize, was crucial for a balanced diet, particularly for warriors and nobles. The market's ability to supply such diverse meats speaks volumes about the sophisticated agricultural and trade networks of the Aztec Empire. You see the vibrant red of fresh meat, the muted brown of fowl feathers, and the glistening silver of fresh fish, all arranged in neat, appealing displays. As you consider the variety laid before you, you realize that every dietary need, every taste is catered for in Tlatelolco. From the vegetarian abundance of the produce stalls to the distinct offerings of this protein corner, the market truly provides a comprehensive culinary landscape. As you step away, the savory aromas linger, a reminder of the diverse and often surprising elements that comprise the Aztec diet, reflecting a complex and resourceful civilization. From the savory and perhaps a little shocking sights of the protein corner, you move deeper into the market, and the air here presents an entirely new set of aromas and textures, some delightful, some less so. You've stumbled upon the section for insect delicacies, a surprisingly common and vital part of the Aztec diet that might challenge your modern palate. Imagine various woven baskets and wide, shallow clay bowls not filled with familiar fruits or vegetables, but teeming with a fascinating wriggling or dried assortment of insects. Yes, that's right. These aren't just curiosities. They are a significant source of protein, fat, and other nutrients, especially for commoners. It's like a protein bar, but with more legs and antennae. You might see piles of roasted or grasshoppers, chapulines, their bodies plump and crunchy, often seasoned with chili and lime. Yes, they had lime, or perhaps delicate ant larvae. Eskimos, sometimes called Mexican caviar today, appearing as tiny pearly white beads. There might be bags of dried earthworm larvae from the maguey plant, Gusanos de Maguey, prized for their rich, nutty flavor. You might even spot water bugs or mosquito larvae, all meticulously collected and prepared for consumption. The sight for an unfamiliar eye might be unsettling, but for the Aztecs, this was simply food, a sustainable and abundant resource. These insects were often harvested seasonally, dried, and stored, providing year-round sustenance. They were eaten as snacks mixed into stews or ground into sauces. Historians still argue whether the consumption of insects was a sign of dietary hardship or a culinary preference, but archaeological evidence and colonial accounts confirm their widespread use across social strata. The vendors in this section, often women, handle the insects with practiced ease, perhaps offering a small sample to curious shoppers. They might patiently explain the best way to prepare a particular type of larva or test the specific health benefits of a handful of roasted ants. Their voices are calm, their movements unhurried, reflecting the everyday normalcy of this unique trade. Fresh chapulines, crunchy and good for the soul. You might hear them call, or at least that's what you would assume they're saying, a quirky fact about edible insects. Certain types of ant larvae, Ayahuatli, were so common and valuable that they were often harvested from the surface of Lake Texcoco itself, where they would lay their eggs on submerged bundles of reeds. So not only were the Aztecs farming on the lake with chinampas, but they were also literally harvesting insect protein, prida, from the lake. Talk about maximum utilization of resources. It's like your backyard barbecue also comes with a built-in fishing pond for tiny bugs. The aroma in this section is complex, earthy, sometimes nutty often, with the sharp scent of chili seasoning. The sounds are subtle, the rustle of dried insects, the quiet murmur of transactions, and perhaps the faint crunching as a customer samples a roasted grasshopper. It's a sensory experience that challenges your preconceived notions of what constitutes food. As you observe the meticulous arrangements of these tiny creatures, you gain a deeper appreciation for the Aztecs' ingenuity and their incredibly efficient use of available resources. In a world without large domesticated animals, apart from turkeys and dogs, as we learned in Section 13, insects provided a crucial and sustainable source of protein. They represent a deep ecological understanding and a pragmatic approach to diet that modern societies are only now beginning to rediscover. As you step away from the insect stalls, your mind might be a little blown, your stomach perhaps a little queasy, but your understanding of Aztec culinary practices is certainly expanded. The insect delicacies of Tlatelolco are a powerful reminder of the diversity of human diet and the endless adaptability of human ingenuity, providing sustenance in ways that, while alien to some, were perfectly normal and vital to this ancient civilization. You've braved the insect delicacies, perhaps even tried a roasted grasshopper, brave soul. Now, as the midday sun climbs higher, intensifying the market's vibrant energy, your nostrils are assaulted in the best possible way by a symphony of tantalizing aromas. This is the section that truly awakens your appetite, the prepared food stalls. Imagine plumes of fragrant smoke curling upwards from clay griddles, honairing comals, where tortillas are sizzling fresh and hot. The air is thick with the savory scent of roasting meat, pungent chili sauces simmering gently, and the sweet, earthy aroma of tamales steaming in their corn husk wrappers. This isn't raw produce. This is ready-to-eat street food designed for immediate gratification. It's like a medieval food court, but with significantly more open flame and fewer plastic trays. You see vendors deftly patting masa into perfect tortillas with rhythmic claps, then placing them on the hot comal, where they puff up delightfully. Other vendors are meticulously wrapping tamales, steamed packets of masa dough filled with savory meats, chili, or even sweet fruits. These are prepared fresh throughout the day, ensuring a constant supply of warm, delicious sustenance for busy shoppers and hungry laborers. The variety of offerings is immense. You might spot vendors serving inatole, a thick, warm drink made from maize masa, often flavored with chili or chocolate, perfect for a quick energy boost. Or perhaps bowls of rich, remolsing-like sauces, complex blends of chilies, spices, and sometimes even ground nuts or chocolate ready to be ladled over tortillas or pieces of meat. Fried snacks made from various masa preparations would also tempt passers-by, their crispy exteriors hinting at savory delights within. A mainstream historical fact for you: the Aztecs developed highly sophisticated culinary techniques, including extensive use of chili peppers, tomatoes, and chocolate in both savory and sweet dishes. They were true masters of flavor, creating a diverse gastronomy that continues to influence Mexican cuisine today. So that mole you tried, its roots are deep in this very marketplace. The vendors here are often loud, their voices booming over the general market din, extolling the virtues of their latest batch of tamales or the fiery kick of their chili sauce. There's an immediate lively interaction as customers line up eager for a hot meal. The sounds are a symphony of sizzling chopping, the clatter of wooden spoons against clay bowls, and the appreciative murmurs of satisfied eaters. A quirky fact about Aztec street food: They sometimes made a type of popcorn from dried maize kernels puffed over hot coals, which was then seasoned with chili or honey. So next time you're at the movies, remember you're enjoying a snack with truly ancient roots. Just imagine trying to sneak that into a quiet temple ceremony without making a sound. Impossible. Historians still argue whether the consumption of prepared foods in the market was a luxury primarily for the wealthy, or if it was a common and essential convenience for all social classes. However, the sheer number of prepared food stalls and the basic nature of some offerings suggests widespread accessibility for those looking for a quick hot meal without having to prepare it themselves. The aromas are intoxicating, a complex blend of savory spices, sweet maize, and the smoky scent of cooking over open flames. The light of the midday sun illuminates the vibrant colors of the chili sauces, the steaming tortillas, and the rich, dark tones of the roasted meats. You feel the warmth radiating from the cooking fires, a comforting presence amidst the bustling crowds. As you consider purchasing a warm tamale or a steaming bowl of atole, you realize that these prepared food stalls offer more than just nourishment. They offer convenience, a taste of home-cooked flavors without the labor, and a vibrant, immediate connection to the culinary heart of the Aztec Empire. This section of Tlatelolco is a sensory delight, a bustling testament to the enduring human pleasure of good food, ready to be savored in the moment. You've indulged in the tempting aromas of the prepared food stalls, perhaps even sampled a delicious tamale. Now, as you weave through the market's vibrant tapestry, the scents shift again, becoming more earthy, herbaceous, and subtly medicinal. You've entered the specialized section dedicated to medicinal herbs, a testament to the Aztecs' profound knowledge of plants and their healing properties. Imagine rows upon rows of carefully arranged plants, both fresh and dried, laid out on woven mats or hanging from wooden racks. The colors are muted compared to the food stalls dominated by greens, browns, and the occasional pale bloom, but the variety is astonishing. You see bundles of copalous resin, its sweet woody scent used for purification and ritual, much like incense. There are various types of tobacco, not just for smoking, but also for medicinal poultices and ceremonial offerings. Beyond these, countless other plants are on display, each with a specific purpose. There are herbs for fevers, for stomach ailments, for wounds, for calming nerves, and for inducing sleep. You might spot dried marigold flowers used for their anti-inflammatory properties, or bundles of Tlalnahual, a plant believed to treat respiratory issues. The air is thick with a complex, earthy aroma, a blend of different botanical scents that hint at deep ancient knowledge. It's like walking through a very large, very ancient apothecary, but everything is fresh from the earth. A mainstream historical fact for you: the Aztecs possessed an incredibly sophisticated understanding of medicinal plants, documented in texts like the Libellus de Medicinalibus Indorum Herbis, known as the Badianus manuscript, which described hundreds of native plants and their uses. Their knowledge rivaled and in some areas surpassed contemporary European medical practices. So when you think of ancient medicine, don't just imagine leeches. Think of highly effective botanical remedies. The vendors in this section are often older men and women, their faces etched with wisdom and experience. They are the healers, the shamans, the herbalists of the community. They speak softly, deliberately, their voices low and reassuring, as they explain the properties of each plant, the correct dosage, and the appropriate rituals for its use. Their hands move with practiced grace as they select and bundle specific herbs, a profound respect for the plants palpable in their movements. Historians still argue whether the Aztec understanding of medicine was based purely on empirical observation, or if spiritual and magical beliefs played an equally fundamental role in their healing practices. A quirky fact about Aztec medicinal plants: the Aztecs used the bark of the cinchona tree to treat fevers long before Europeans discovered quinine from the same plant to combat malaria. Imagine having a natural remedy for one of the world's deadliest diseases right there in your marketplace, centuries before it was discovered by the outside world. It makes you wonder how many other natural cures they knew about that we've since forgotten. The light in this section is perhaps a little softer, filtered through the woven awnings that protect the delicate herbs from the harsh sun. The sounds are hushed, a quiet murmur of consultation, the rustle of dried leaves, and the gentle clinking of small clay bowls used for mixing remedies. There's a palpable sense of hope and healing in the air, a quiet confidence in the power of nature to restore balance and well-being. As you observe the meticulous arrangements of these botanical wonders, you gain a deep respect for the Aztecs' profound connection to their natural environment and their sophisticated system of medicine. These plants are more than just commodities. They are sacred tools, gifts from the earth, entrusted to the skilled hands of the healers. As you move on, the earthy, calming scent of the herbs lingers, a subtle reminder of the quiet power that lies within the natural world and the ancient wisdom that flowed through the stalls of Tlatelolco. Leaving the earthy, serene world of medicinal herbs, you now find yourself drawn by a different kind of sound: chirps, squawks, the rustle of feathers, and the occasional soft coo. You've arrived at the animal trading section of Tlatelolco, a lively, often cacophonous corner of the market, where life in all its feathered and furry forms is bought and sold. Imagine rows of woven cages and pens teeming with a surprising variety of creatures. You'll see large numbers of turkeys, huexolotl, both live birds for breeding or future consumption. Remember them from Section 13, and smaller, plumper ones, specifically raised for their meat. Their characteristic gobbling provides a constant, reassuring backdrop to the market. Beside them, perhaps, are the hairless dogs bought itzcuintly, destined both for companionship and the dinner table, their soft barks adding to the chorus. But what truly captures your attention are the exotic birds. Tenochtitlan, despite being an inland city, had access to an astonishing array of tropical birds from distant regions. You see macaws with brilliant red and blue plumage, their raucous squawks cutting through the general market hum. There are vibrant green parrots chattering endlessly in their cages, and smaller jewel-toned hummingbirds fluttering nervously within their enclosures. These birds were prized not just for their beauty or song, but crucially for their feathers, those feathered wonders we admired in Section 7. Many were destined for the workshops of master featherworkers, providing the raw material for magnificent cloaks and headdresses. A mainstream historical fact for you: the Aztecs maintained extensive aviaries within Tenochtitlan itself, housing vast collections of birds, including those brought as tribute from conquered territories. These aviaries were not just for display, but served as a controlled environment for feather collection and the study of various species. It was like their version of a highly specialized, very ornate zoo that also served as a feather farm. You might also spot more unusual creatures. Perhaps small active monkeys, their bright eyes observing the market chaos with mischievous curiosity. Or even deer brought from the forests. Remember those from Section 28, a subtle callback to future content, their gentle eyes wide with bewilderment. These animals, whether destined for a noble's private collection, a ritual sacrifice, or simply a rare meal, represent the incredible biodiversity that flowed into the heart of the empire. The vendors in this section are often specialists, their hands nimble and experienced in handling the various creatures. They speak in softer, calming tones to the animals, yet their voices rise in pitch when negotiating with a potential buyer. The air here is a complex mix of animal scents, the musky odor of birds, the earthy smell of straw, and the general aromas of the bustling market. The sounds are a cacophony of chirps, squawks, barks, and the rustle of feathers, a vibrant symphony of animal life. A quirky fact about Aztec pet ownership: while dogs were raised for food, they were also kept as beloved companions, and some small, barkless dog breeds were particularly popular as pets. Imagine having a dog that never woofed. It sounds like a dream for modern apartment living, doesn't it? He's perfectly quiet, doesn't even bark at the delivery guy. Historians still argue whether the trade in exotic animals for pets or menageries was widespread or primarily limited to the elite. However, the presence of such a diverse array of species in the market certainly indicates a demand for them across various levels of society, or at least for distribution to powerful individuals and temples. You see a noble servant carefully selecting a colorful macaw, while a commoner might be choosing a plump turkey for a family feast. As you wander through this lively, sometimes loud section of Tlatelolco, you gain a deeper appreciation for the Aztecs' connection to the animal kingdom, both for utility and for beauty. These creatures, vibrant and alive, are more than just commodities. They are living threads in the rich tapestry of Aztec culture, symbols of wealth, spirituality, and the enduring wonder of the natural world. As you move on, the echoes of chirps and barks follow you, a vivid reminder of the bustling, breathing heart of the Aztec marketplace. You've navigated the lively chaos of the animal trade, perhaps dodging a stray turkey or marveling at a chattering parrot. Now, as you delve deeper into Tlatelolco, the atmosphere subtly shifts again. The sheer volume of goods remains, but the air takes on a more refined, often musky or resinous scent, and the displays are characterized by their rarity and exquisite craftsmanship. You've entered the realm of a luxury goods, where the most precious imports from the far reaches of the Aztec Empire and beyond are traded. Imagine stalls where items are not piled high, but carefully displayed on fine woven mats or within shallow lacquered boxes. You see shimmering jaguar skins, their spotted patterns a testament to the powerful predators from distant jungles. These aren't just decorative. They are symbols of warrior prowess and noble status, often reserved for the elite or used in ceremonial attire. Their presence here speaks of daring hunts and complex trade networks. Beside the skins, you might spot lumps of dark, springy rubber hamali. This isn't the everyday rubber you know. This is the hardened sap from rubber trees, highly valued for its bounce. It's used to make the balls for the sacred Mesoamerican ball game, a high-stakes sport with ritualistic significance. Its unusual texture and unique properties make it a fascinating commodity. Historians still argue whether the rubber trade was primarily controlled by the imperial state or if independent Puchtesa, long-distance merchants, remember them from Section 4. The guys always looking for a good deal on a quill of gold dust had significant autonomy in its acquisition and distribution. Then there are the more precious resins, like amber or copal, which we briefly encountered in Section 16 for medicinal purposes. These might be displayed as translucent lumps or already carved into beads for necklaces and ornaments. Their warm, earthy scents, sometimes subtly sweet, permeate the air. They are valued for their beauty, their aromatic qualities when burned as incense, and sometimes for perceived magical or medicinal properties. You might also see finely carved mark, which often from rare tropical trees transformed into elaborate ceremonial stools, intricate masts, or delicate boxes. These are not the utilitarian wooden implements you'd find elsewhere. These are works of art, highly polished and sometimes inlaid with shell or obsidian. Each piece speaks of the unique resources of distant lands and the exceptional skill of the artisans who transformed them. A quirky fact about Aztec luxury goods. Some of the most prized items traded in Tlatelolco included liquid jade, fine cacao beans so precious they were like liquid wealth, and even live hummingbirds kept for their shimmering feathers and delicate beauty. Imagine paying a fortune for a tiny buzzing bird. It makes collecting rare stamps seem terribly mundane, doesn't it? The vendors in this section are often Pochteca, themselves distinct from the common market vendors. They are wealthy, influential figures, sometimes acting as spies for the Aztec Empire, gathering intelligence as they travel. They dress in finer clothing, their demeanor is more reserved, and their negotiations are subtle, reflecting the high value of their wares. The transactions here are likely conducted with large quantities of cacao beans or quills of gold dust. Remember that unique currency from Section 5. The light in this section seems to play differently on the surfaces of these rare goods, the deep luster of the jaguar skins, the subtle sheen of polished wood, the translucent glow of the resins. The sounds are minimal, hushed whispers of negotiation, the rustle of fine textiles as a customer examines a piece, and the soft chink of cacao beans exchanged for immense value. As you gaze at these luxury goods, you gain a powerful sense of the vastness of the Aztec Empire's reach and its impressive economic prowess. These items, representing the pinnacle of their material culture, symbolize the power, status, and aesthetic values of the Aztec elite. They are reminders that even in a world focused on subsistence, there was a thriving appetite for beauty, rarity, and the tangible expression of wealth. As you move on, the lingering sense of resin and fine materials follow you, a subtle reminder of the opulence that flowed into the heart of Tenochtitlan. You've just admired the exquisite and often extravagant luxury goods, a testament to the empire's reach and the elite's desire for beauty. Now, as you continue your exploration of Tlatelolco, you find yourself amidst a different kind of artistry, one that blends skill with everyday utility and spiritual significance. This is the section where artisanal crafts are sold, the direct output of countless individual master hands. Imagine rows of smaller specialized stalls, each showcasing the unique creations of a dedicated craftsman. The air here hums with a quieter, more focused energy than the chaotic main thoroughfares. You might hear the delicate tapping of a small hammer on metal, the soft scraping of a carving tool, or the gentle rustle of a basket being woven. These are the sounds of creation of practiced hands, shaping raw materials into objects of beauty and function. You see a dazzling array of items. There are intricate stone carvings, perhaps small effigies of deities, stylized animals, or abstract symbols made from basalt jade. Remember that precious stone from Section 10 or other local stones. Each piece is meticulously detailed, reflecting hours of patient chiseling and polishing. They are both decorative and often imbued with spiritual meaning, used in household shrines or as personal talismans. Nearby, a vendor might display an assortment of finely woven baskets of all shapes and sizes. Made from reeds, palm fronds, or agave fibers, these aren't just simple containers. Some are tightly woven with intricate patterns, perfect for storing precious goods, while others are large and sturdy, designed for carrying heavy loads, perhaps even the burdens of a tlamim. As we saw in Section 3, the texture, the weave, the subtle variations in natural color. Each basket tells a story of the hands that made it. You might also encounter craftsmen specializing in wood carving. Small, intricately carved stools, ceremonial drums, or even delicately sculpted human figures might be on display, their surfaces polished to a smooth sheen. The scent of fresh wood, perhaps cedar or pine, fills the immediate air around their stalls, a clean and earthy aroma. A mainstream historical fact for you: Aztec artisans often worked within specialized Calpulli kin-based community units that passed down specific craft traditions through generations. This ensured the continuity of highly skilled craftsmanship and often led to regional specializations in certain types of pottery, weaving, or carving. It's like having a family business where the secret sauce is centuries of inherited skill. The artisans themselves are often present at their stalls, a direct link between creator and consumer. They are usually calm, their movements precise, their eyes sharp with attention to detail. They might be working on a new piece even as they interact with customers, demonstrating their skill and inviting admiration for their craft. There's a palpable sense of pride in their creations, a deep connection to the objects they bring to life. A quirky fact about Aztec artistic expression: even everyday items like gourds were often intricately carved and decorated, turning simple utensils into works of art. Imagine every bowl in your kitchen being a unique, hand-carved masterpiece. It certainly puts a new spin on disposable cutlery, doesn't it? Every meal could be an aesthetic experience. Historians still argue whether the most exceptional artisanal pieces were primarily produced as tribute for the emperor and nobility, or if a significant portion was always intended for the general market. However, the sheer volume and diversity of crafts available in Tlatelolco certainly suggest a thriving independent artisan class. The light in this section seems to highlight the textures, the rough grain of wood, the smooth polish of stone, the intricate weave of a basket. The sounds are delicate: the quiet tap, tap, tap of a chisel, the gentle rustle of fibers, the murmuring of customers admiring a particularly fine piece. It's a peaceful corner of the market, a haven of focused creation amidst the broader bustle. As you move on from the artisanal crafts, you carry with you a renewed appreciation for the ingenuity and skill of the individual maker. These handcrafted objects, imbued with the spirit of their creators, tell a story of dedication, tradition, and the timeless human desire to shape the world around them into something both useful and beautiful. Tlatelolco in this section is a living workshop, a vibrant testament to the enduring power of human hands. You've just been captivated by the intricate details of artisanal crafts, sensing the dedication of the individual makers. Now, as you continue your journey through the grand marketplace of Tlatelolco, a different kind of vibrant display catches your eye, one that promises transformation and self-expression. You've arrived at the section dedicated to cosmetics and dyes. Imagine stalls bursting with rich, earthy colors far beyond the palette you might be accustomed to. The air here has a complex aroma, a mix of floral notes, musky undertones, and the sharp, distinctive scent of ground minerals. You see piles of finely ground pigments arranged in neat little mounds like miniature mountains of color. There are vibrant reds from cochineal. Yes, the same insect used for dyeing textiles. Remember section 6. Deep blues from indigo sunny yellows from various plant extracts, and rich blacks from charcoal or obsidian dust. These aren't just for painting, they are for personal adornment. You'll see body paints of every shade ready to be mixed with water or oil and applied to the skin for ceremonies, warfare, or daily decoration. Imagine intricate patterns adorning faces and limbs, transforming the human canvas. These weren't just about vanity. They were powerful statements of identity, status, and spiritual connection. A specific color or design might indicate your lineage, your warrior society, or your devotion to a particular deity. Beside the pigments, you might spot carefully crafted containers of cosmetics. Perhaps small polished gourds filled with powders used to whiten the skin, or delicate clay pots containing a reddish paste for rouging the cheeks and lips. You'd also see tools for application, fine brushes made from animal hair, small spatulas for mixing, and smooth obsidian mirrors. Those obsidian tools from Section 8 had many uses for checking your reflection. It's like a very ancient, very natural beauty counter, but with higher stakes for your aesthetic choices. A mainstream historical fact for you. The Aztecs utilized a vast array of natural ingredients for their cosmetics and dyes, often derived from plants, minerals, and even insects. The cochineal insect, for instance, produced a red dye so vibrant and color-fast that it became a highly sought-after commodity in Europe after the Spanish conquest. This wasn't just about looking good, it was about mastering the chemistry of nature. The vendors in this section often, women are skilled in the art of adornment. They might demonstrate how to apply a particular pigment or patiently explain the symbolic meaning of a specific color. Their hands, though perhaps stained with vibrant hues, move with grace and precision as they handle their delicate wares. Their voices are calm, almost artistic, inviting you to experiment with transformation. Enhance your beauty, friend, or ward off evil spirits with this brilliant blue. You might imagine them saying, highlighting the dual purpose of many of their products. A quirky fact about Aztec personal adornment. They used a substance called xucalitl, made from fermented indigo leaves to create a deep blue dye that was sometimes applied to the teeth for ceremonial purposes. Imagine going to your dentist and asking for indigo teeth. It certainly makes a statement, doesn't it? Talk about a bold fashion choice for a sacred occasion. Historians still argue whether the use of cosmetics and elaborate body paint was purely for ritualistic or elite display, or if commoners also engaged in more modest forms of daily adornment. However, the sheer quantity and variety of pigments in the market suggest a widespread cultural appreciation for color and self-expression. The light in this section seems to pick up the brilliance of the pigments, making them almost glow. The sounds are subtle, the gentle scrape of a spoon against a bowl of powder, the quiet murmur of a customer's consultation, and perhaps the faint rustle of a new cosmetic being opened. As you step away from the vibrant world of cosmetics and dyes, you carry with you the impression of a people who understood the power of color, not just for aesthetics, but for communication, ritual, and identity. The pigments of Tlatelolco offer a fascinating glimpse into the Aztec understanding of beauty and their sophisticated use of nature's palette to adorn both themselves and their world. It's a testament to the timeless human desire to transform, to express, and to leave a colorful mark. You've just left the vibrant, expressive world of cosmetics and dyes your imagination, still painting faces with cochineal red and indigo blue. But as you move through Tlatelolco, your ears catch a new set of sounds, a different kind of rhythm that pulls you towards a central open space. This isn't about buying or selling, it's about communal joy and shared experience. You've stumbled upon the bustling hub of performance and art. Imagine the scene now. Not a formal stage, but an impromptu clearing amidst the stalls where a crowd has gathered, creating a temporary amphitheater. The air here is electric with anticipation, vibrant with the sounds of music and laughter, a stark contrast to the quiet negotiations you encountered in the luxury goods section. Remember those shimmering jaguar skins from Part 18? This is where the marketplace truly comes alive as a cultural center, not just an economic one. You see musicians, their instruments simple but evocative. Perhaps a group playing flutes and drums, their rhythmic beats and soaring melodies creating a captivating atmosphere. The sound might be mesmerizing, drawing you into an ancient trance. Or perhaps the sharp, bright call of a conch shell trumpet signals a more ceremonial performance. Music here is an integral part of life, accompanying rituals, dances, and everyday celebrations. Beside the musicians, storytellers might captivate an audience with ancient myths, heroic tales, or humorous anecdotes. Their voices rise and fall with dramatic flair, their gestures expressive, painting vivid pictures with words. It's the oral tradition in full bloom, a living link to the collective memory of the Aztec people. Remember those humble hearthside stories from Part 19, now amplified for a wider audience. You find yourself leaning in, drawn by the power of their narrative, even if you only catch the snippets of the Nahuatl. And then there are the was acrobats, Germanos jugglers. Their agility and skill, drawing gasps of delight from the crowd. You might see a performer balancing impossibly tall stacks of pottery, perhaps acquired from Section 9, or an acrobat tumbling and twisting through the air with astonishing grace. Their movements are fluid, almost gravity-defying, a testament to years of rigorous training. It's like a medieval Cirque du Soleil, but with fewer glittering costumes and more real danger. A mainstream historical fact for you. Music, dance, and poetry were highly valued art forms in Aztec society, often incorporated into religious ceremonies, courtly life, and public festivals. Professional performers played a crucial role in disseminating cultural knowledge and entertaining the populace. It wasn't just background noise, it was integral to their spiritual and social fabric. The energy here is infectious. Laughter ripples through the crowd, children clap their hands, and even the most stoic vendors might pause their bartering for a moment to watch a particularly impressive feat. The sunlight illuminates the performers, highlighting their colorful attire and the dust kicked up by their energetic movements. The smells here are a blend of human warmth, celebratory food from nearby stalls, those tempting tamales from Section 15, and the lingering scent of copal incense, adding a ritualistic layer to the entertainment. A quirky fact about Aztec performers. Some performers, known as tlattaleros, were masters of verbal acrobatics, engaging in witty banter, riddles, and elaborate poetic recitations. Imagine trying to keep up with an ancient, complex rap battle in a language you barely understand. You just have to trust that they were really good. Historians still argue whether these market performances were spontaneous or if they were carefully organized and perhaps sponsored by the market overseers, Pocteca judges, whom we'll meet in Section 23. However, their presence certainly indicates the marketplace's function as a vibrant public square, a place not just for commerce, but for cultural exchange, artistic expression, and communal enjoyment. As you stand amidst the cheering crowd, feeling the rhythmic beat of the drums vibrate through the ground, you experience the unifying power of art. It transcends language class and the daily grind, bringing people together in shared moments of wonder and joy. The performances of Tlatelolco are a vivid reminder that even in a highly structured society, the human spirit finds endless ways to express itself, to entertain, and to connect. As you move on, a tune might hum in your head, or an acrobatic feat might play out in your mind, a lasting impression of the marketplace's vibrant cultural heartbeat. You've just left the lively performances, the echoes of flutes and drums still resonating in the air. Now let's get back to the core of any market, the very engine that drives all this incredible commerce. You've heard it throughout our journey, a constant underlying hum. We're diving into the heart of their barter and negotiation. Hidim. Imagine the cacophony around you. It's a symphony of voices, not just simple calls, but a complex rapid-fire exchange. You hear vendors loudly extolling the virtues of their wares, their voices rising and falling in rhythmic chants. Fresh maize from the Chinampas, sweetest in the valley. They might cry their pitch designed to attract attention, but then as a customer approaches, the tone shifts, becoming more intimate, more persuasive. This isn't a world of fixed prices and scanning barcodes. Every single transaction, from a handful of chili peppers to a stack of textiles, is an act of negotiation. It's a delicate dance of offer and counteroffer, a test of wills and a display of knowledge. You as a buyer would carefully examine the goods. The tightness of the textile weave, remember that weaver from section 6, the freshness of the fish from section 13, the sharpness of the obsidian blade from section 8. You point out flaws, exaggerate shortcomings, and feign disinterest, all to drive down the price. The vendor, in turn, would defend the quality of their items, highlight their rarity, and perhaps lament the arduous journey they took to bring them to market, thinking of those tireless telememes from section 3. They might even offer a small performative sigh of exasperation, as if the proposed price were a personal insult. It's all part of the game, a ritualized exchange that, for all its theatrics, is based on a deep understanding of value and necessity. Historians still argue whether the Aztec market had informal price ceilings for certain staple goods, or if every transaction was a purely open negotiation reflecting supply and demand. The payment, as we discussed in Section 5, would likely be in cacao beans or quills of gold dust for larger deals. But for smaller transactions, or as part of a barter, you might be exchanging other goods directly. Perhaps a finely woven blanket for a basket of exotic fruits. Remember those papayas from Section 12, or a handful of obsidian blades for a colorful stack of pottery from Section 9. It's a constant calculation weighing the value of disparate items against each other. My 2 fat turkeys for that beautiful feather mosaic. Are you mad, friend? My turkeys sing. You might joke, probably not. A quirky fact about Aztec bartering. They sometimes used cotton cloaks, quactali, as a form of standard value for larger transactions, especially for tribute or luxury goods, even if the actual cloak wasn't physically exchanged. It was like a medieval textile-based unit of account, a bit like saying, that's worth 5 fine suits, without actually having to drag the suits around. It simplified complex barters, a kind of pre-monetary equivalent of a $1,000 bill. The sounds of negotiation are fascinating. The rapid-fire nawal rising and falling in pitch, punctuated by gestures and expressions. You hear the crisp snap of a textile being unfurled for inspection, the soft clink of cacao beans being counted, the appreciative murmur of a deal struck, or the sharp retort of an offer rejected. There's an energy here, a constant hum of economic activity that feels deeply human and direct. As you conclude a successful negotiation, perhaps walking away with a perfectly ripe avocado for a fair price, you feel a small surge of satisfaction. It's not just about the item, it's about the skill of the exchange, the quiet triumph of a well-played game. You learn quickly to read faces, to discern genuine intent from theatrical bluster, and to hold your ground. The marketplace in this sense is a living school of economics, a place where sharp minds and keen eyes are constantly at work. Every transaction is a small story, a brief encounter between 2 individuals driven by need, desire, and the universal impulse to trade. As you move on, the sounds of bartering continue around you, a relentless, fascinating rhythm that defines the commercial heart of Tlatelolco, ensuring that goods flow, needs are met, and the great Aztec economy keeps turning. You've just navigated the intricate dance of barter and negotiation, perhaps emerging victorious with a coveted item. But amidst the clamor and vibrant chaos of Tlatelolco, there's an underlying order, a quiet authority that ensures fair play and prevents outright anarchy. This brings us to the fascinating role of the silent judges, the market overseers who maintain the peace. Imagine them now not standing on a grand dais but moving subtly through the crowds. These are the Shakipushtega Shabanegi judges, a specialized class of officials often associated with the powerful long-distance merchants. Remember them from Section 4, the ones with the fancy canoes and luxury goods in Section 18. They are often dressed in slightly finer clothing than the common vendors, perhaps a cloak of a particular weave or color, marking their authority without ostentation. Their expressions are calm, observant, their eyes missing nothing. They are the market's watchful guardians, ensuring that commerce flows smoothly and honestly. Their presence is a constant, subtle reminder that the market is not a free-for-all. Fraud, cheating, and disputes are dealt with swiftly and publicly. If a disagreement arises between a buyer and a seller over the quality of goods, the fairness of a price, or a suspected counterfeit, Remember those fake cacao beans from Section 5? The parties would bring their case directly to a Pukteka judge. There's no complex legal system with lawyers and lengthy appeals. Justice here is immediate and pragmatic. You might observe a dispute unfolding. Two vendors are arguing heatedly over a batch of supposedly fresh fish that seems a bit aromatic. The judge approaches, his demeanor serene, his voice firm but not harsh. He listens patiently to both sides, perhaps inspects the offending fish, and probably wrinkles his nose discreetly, because even judges have limits. Then with a decisive gesture, he pronounces his judgment. It could be a simple fine demand for restitution, or for more serious offenses, public humiliation, or even the destruction of the fraudulent goods. It's like a medieval reality TV show about consumer protection, but without the commercial breaks. A mainstream historical fact for you. The Puktexa themselves, the powerful merchant class, held significant judicial authority within the market, often resolving disputes through a separate court system. This self-regulation underscored their importance and maintained trust within the vast trade network. It was a unique blend of economic and legal power, keeping the gears of commerce well-oiled. The sounds in this area are punctuated by the occasional sharp authoritative voice of a judge, cutting through the market hum, followed by a sudden hush as people turn to witness the dispensation of justice. There's a palpable sense of respect and perhaps a little fear for these figures. Their impartiality, or at least the perception of it, was vital for maintaining confidence in the market as a whole. A quirky fact about Aztec market law. Some historical accounts suggest that false weights or measures were severely punished, sometimes even with the destruction of the vendor's entire stall. Imagine trying to cheat on your scales and then watching your entire business literally get dismantled in front of hundreds of people. Talk about a very public bad review. Historians still argue whether the Puktexa judges were fully independent or if they operated under the direct oversight of the Aztec emperor's administration. Regardless, their system worked to ensure order and fairness in a marketplace that handled an astonishing volume of goods and transactions daily. Their calm, deliberate movements, even amidst the clamor, provided a reassuring anchor in the fluid chaos of commerce. As you move on from this section, you carry with you a new appreciation for the unseen mechanisms that kept this immense market running smoothly. The silent judges with their keen eyes and swift decisions were the unsung heroes of Aztec commerce, upholding the intricate rules that allowed for the peaceful exchange of goods in the prosperity of the empire. Their quiet authority is a powerful reminder that even in a bustling hub of human activity, order can and must prevail. You've witnessed the swift justice of the Puktexa judges, and now as the sun reaches its zenith and begins its slow descent towards the western horizon, you notice a subtle shift in the market's energy. The initial frenzy, the pre-dawn bustle, the mid-morning roar, it all begins to soften. This is the warm afternoon lull. Imagine the change. The harsh glare of the midday sun, which earlier illuminated every vibrant hue of the textiles and produce, now casts longer, softer shadows. The air, which was thick with the frenetic energy of thousands, now feels a little lighter, less oppressive. The ear-splitting cacophony of voices begins to recede, replaced by a more subdued murmur, a gentler hum. It's like the market is taking a collective deep breath, unwinding after its most intense period. Many vendors, having sold the best of their fresh produce or made their most significant transactions, begin to relax. You might see some now sitting down on their woven mats, perhaps sharing a simple meal of tortillas and beans. Those ubiquitous staples remember Section 11 from a small clay bowl. Others might be fanning themselves with palm leaves, seeking respite from the lingering heat of the day. The sheer endurance required to spend hours on your feet shouting, bartering, and managing wares is immense. This lull is well-deserved. The crowds thinned somewhat too. The early morning shoppers who needed specific items or the merchants making their most important deals have largely departed. Those who remain are perhaps more leisurely brows with a less urgent pace or simply enjoying the atmosphere. You might see mothers with children remember those industrious medieval kids from Section 11 taking a slower stroll, or friends meeting for a quiet conversation. Historians still argue whether this afternoon lull was a structured part of the market day or simply a natural consequence of the intense morning activity and the midday heat. but its common occurrence is widely noted. A quirky fact about the afternoon in ancient Mesoamerica. For many, this was a time for a brief siesta or nap after the main meal. Imagine a whole city collectively taking a power nap. It's like a built-in snooze button for an entire civilization. If only modern workplaces had that kind of understanding. Just 5 more minutes, boss, the ancient Aztecs would approve. The sounds in the afternoon lull are softer, the gentle rustle of leaves in a basket, the quiet chink of a few cacao beans being counted, the distant melody of a flute played by a street musician. Those talented performers from Section 21 still playing, but perhaps to a smaller, more appreciative audience. The pervasive aroma of cooking food might also soften, replaced by the lingering scent of dried herbs or the sweet perfume of distant flowers. You might find yourself drawn to one of the fewer remaining prepared food stalls, those tempting ones from Section 15, perhaps for a lighter snack or a cool drink of fruit-flavored water. The interactions are calmer, the bartering less aggressive. There's a sense of patience in the air, a quiet understanding that the most urgent business has been done, and what remains is a more relaxed flow of commerce. As the sun continues its arc, the light begins to change again, becoming softer, casting longer, more artistic shadows across the vast market plaza. The vibrant colors of the morning might seem a little more muted, imbued with a gentle warmth. You reflect on the incredible energy that filled this space just hours ago and marvel at the capacity of such a massive undertaking to find moments of stillness and calm within its relentless rhythm. The afternoon lull is a breath, a pause, a moment of collective respite. It's a testament to the adaptability of the Aztec people, their ability to find balance even within the demands of a bustling metropolis. As you linger soaking in the more subdued atmosphere, you understand that this quiet period is just as vital to the market's overall rhythm as its more frenetic moments, a calming transition toward the day's eventual close. You've witnessed the gentle rhythm of the afternoon lull, that collective sigh of relief after the morning's frenetic energy. But as the market's pace slows, another fascinating aspect of its efficiency comes into focus: the meticulous management of waste and recycling. Forget overflowing bins or complex modern sorting facilities. The Aztecs had a remarkably sophisticated system for dealing with the byproducts of their massive market. Imagine the sheer volume of material generated each day in Tlatelolco. Thousands of people, tons of produce, countless transactions. Yet as you observe the ground, you won't see piles of rotting refuse. Instead, you notice specialized teams moving through the stalls, often slaves or designated laborers, diligently collecting everything that's been discarded. The air here, surprisingly, is not foul with decay, but rather holds a faint, earthy aroma, hinting at processes of reuse. It's like a very, very old-school manual composting and recycling program, but without the brightly colored bins. Every piece of waste had a potential second life. Organic matter. Discarded fruit peels, remember those exotic fruits from Section 12, vegetable scraps, from the produce piles in Section 11, corn husks, and even the occasional dead bird, was meticulously collected. This wasn't simply thrown away, it was destined for more composting. Imagine these organic treasures being transported to the edges of the city, perhaps to the very chinampas, those ingenious floating gardens we first encountered in Section 1 that supplied the market where they would be transformed into rich, fertile soil. This closed-loop system ensured that the waste of the city became the nourishment for its future harvests. It's a level of sustainable thinking that would make many modern environmentalists weep with joy. Inorganic waste also had its purpose. Broken pottery from that vibrant section in Section 9 wasn't merely trash. It could be ground down and reused as temper for new clay strengthening future vessels. Worn-out agave fibers, perhaps from old textiles, remember those colorful tapestries from Section 6, could be reprocessed into pulp for paper or other fibrous materials. Even discarded obsidian flakes from Section 8, sharp even when discarded, might be gathered and repurposed for smaller tools or ritualistic offerings. Nothing truly went to waste. A mainstream historical fact for you. The Aztecs maintained a highly organized system of waste management with dedicated teams of laborers responsible for collecting refuse from the streets and markets daily. This meticulous approach to sanitation was crucial for the health and cleanliness of a city as densely populated as Tenochtitlan. It wasn't just about aesthetics. It was a matter of public health in a city built in a lake. The sounds of waste management are subtle. The rustle of leaves, the quiet clatter of pottery shards being collected, the murmur of the laborers as they move methodically through the market. There's a quiet efficiency to their work, a rhythmic process that ensures the marketplace remains clean and orderly, even as thousands conduct their business. A quirky fact about Aztec waste practices. Human waste was also highly valued. It was collected and used as a potent fertilizer for the chanampas and other agricultural plots. So the next time you marvel at the bountiful harvests of Tenochtitlan, remember that every single piece of its sustenance was carefully cycled back into the earth. Talk about making every contribution count. Historians still argue whether the waste collection system was primarily driven by pragmatic necessity due to the city's island location in limited land, or if it also reflected a deeper philosophical understanding of cycles and resource conservation. Regardless, its effectiveness in keeping the bustling market remarkably clean is a testament to Aztec ingenuity. As the afternoon light mellows, casting long shadows across the organized chaos, you watch as the last of the day's easily reusable waste is collected. The efficiency is remarkable, a quiet testament to a society that understood the profound connection between consumption and regeneration. The market isn't just a place of goods, it's a living ecosystem of resourcefulness where even the discarded finds new purpose. As you move on, you carry a new appreciation for this ancient, sustainable heartbeat of Tlatelolco, where nothing truly vanishes but merely transforms. The meticulous waste management teams have done their rounds, leaving the market surprisingly clean, even as the afternoon wears on. Now, as the sun dips lower, painting the western sky with hues of orange and deep purple, another subtle shift begins in Tlatelolco. The bustling energy of the morning and midday, remember that vibrant chaos from Section 4, starts to dissipate, giving way to the methodical process of neater evening pack-up. Tenochtitlan. Imagine the scene now. The roaring symphony of thousands of voices and bustling activity begins to break down into smaller, more distinct sounds. The rustle of woven mats being rolled up, the gentle clatter of pottery being carefully stacked, all that beautiful pottery from Section 9, and the soft thud of wooden poles being dismantled. The grand open plaza, which seemed to stretch endlessly in every direction just hours ago, slowly starts to regain its vast, empty expanse. It's like watching a giant ancient retail store slowly put itself to bed. Vendors, their faces perhaps a little weary, but often content from a successful day of trade, begin to meticulously organize their remaining wares. Those who brought fresh produce, the vibrant piles from Section 11, will carefully bundle any unsold items, perhaps setting them aside for tomorrow's market or for home consumption. Perishable goods will be prioritized, perhaps being taken to cooler storage areas or processed for immediate use. There's no leaving things out overnight. Security and preservation are paramount. The Tlememes, those tireless porters from Section 3, who came from distant lands with heavy burdens and who may have been selling their own small wares throughout the day, are now preparing for their return journeys. They might be purchasing staples for their own households or acquiring new goods to carry back to their home communities, ensuring the cycle of trade continues. You see them methodically re-shouldering their lighter loads, their posture still distinctive, but perhaps with a hint of a day's labor completed. A mainstream historical fact for you. The Tlatelolco market operated daily, not just on specific market days, though certain days were larger or specialized. This daily operation meant that the pack-up and setup were continuous, efficient processes adapting to the ebb and flow of daily commerce. It was a 24/7, well, more like 12/7 operation, always ready for the next day's dawn. The sounds are now softer, more deliberate. The loud calls of vendors are replaced by quiet conversations, perhaps discussing the day's profits or planning for tomorrow's sales. The rhythmic clink of cacao beans, that intriguing currency from Section 5, might still be heard as final counts are made. The overall atmosphere shifts from frenetic activity to one of quiet industry and orderly departure. A quirky fact about market security during pack-up. Some vendors might use large, heavy stones or specially woven covers to protect their more valuable remaining goods overnight before transporting them back to secure storage. Imagine trying to pilfer a valuable feather cloak, those feathered wonders, from Section 7 when it's covered by a boulder. It's a low-tech but effective security system relying on brute force and a bit of deterrent. My back aches just thinking about lifting those stones. Historians still argue whether the Pachtekam long-distance merchants and judges remember Section 23 played a direct role in overseeing the pack-up process, or if specialized market officials handled this logistical feat. Regardless, the systematic closure of such a vast market speaks volumes about the level of organization and discipline within Aztec society. As the last rays of sunlight stretch across the market floor, illuminating the subtle parchment texture of our miniature, you see vendors carefully sweeping their stalls, leaving them tidy for the morning. The final canoes from Section 2 push off from the docks, their paddles creating soft ripples in the calm lake water, carrying vendors and their remaining wares back to their homes. The last Lamims disappear down the causeways, their figures silhouetted against the fading light. The air, once a riot of smells, begins to settle, carrying only the faintest lingering aromas of the day's commerce. The once bustling hub of activity slowly empties, becoming a silent, vast expanse. As you take your leave, you witness the very heart of Tenochtitlan preparing for its nocturnal rest. The evening pack-up isn't just a physical process, it's a symbolic one, a methodical winding down that prepares the stage for another day's vibrant performance. The market, so alive just hours ago now, settles into a profound stillness. The last vendors have departed, their footsteps fading into the twilight, and the vast plaza of Tlatelolco, once a roaring symphony of commerce, now lies quiet and seemingly abandoned. But abandoned is not the right word. As the vibrant hues of sunset drain from the sky, a new presence emerges from the deepening shadows. This is the time for the Cornishana, the market night watch. The guardians of the silent, emptied marketplace. Imagine seeing them now. Not the bustling crowds of the day, but small groups of figures moving with quiet purpose across the vast open space. These are the watchmen, perhaps a rotating duty for certain citizens or dedicated guards employed by the market administration. They carry simple lanterns, their flickering light casting long dancing shadows that stretch and sway across the now bare stone pavement. The rhythmic tap of their sandals or the soft thud of a wooden staff on the ground are the only sounds to break the profound stillness. Their duties are crucial. While the day was for trade, the night is for protection and vigilance. They patrol the entire expanse of the market, checking the empty stalls, ensuring no one lingers illicitly, and watching for signs of trouble. Theft, even in the quiet of the night, remains a concern, and these guards are the first line of defense. They move with an almost meditative pace, their eyes sharp, constantly scanning the shadows. It's like a very ancient, very low-tech security detail, but with much better stargazing opportunities. The air here is different now. The myriad scents of the day, fresh produce, cooked food, human sweat have dissipated, replaced by the cool, clean smell of stone and the faint, lingering aroma of damp earth. The vastness of the plaza, which felt so alive and intimate during the day, now feels immense and echoing its monumental scale, emphasized by the silence. A mainstream historical fact for you. Large Aztec markets like Tlatelolco were highly organized with dedicated administrators and guards responsible for maintaining order, cleanliness, and security both during the day and at night. This level of civic organization was remarkable for its time, ensuring the continuity of vital economic functions. It really puts those chaotic medieval markets, remember them from Part 5, to shame, doesn't it? You might observe a watchman pausing, his lantern held high, as he meticulously inspects a row of empty stalls, ensuring they are properly secured. Perhaps he checks a bundle of valuable goods that a vendor had covered with heavy stones. Remember that quirky security fact from Section 26. Every detail matters, every potential vulnerability must be addressed. A quirky fact about Aztec nightlife. While most commoners would be asleep, certain religious ceremonies or astronomical observations would take place during the night, particularly in the temples near the market. So the watchman might not only be looking out for thieves, but also for priests engaged in nocturnal rituals. It's not just about guarding earthly possessions. It's about guarding the sanctity of the night itself. Historians still argue whether the market watch was purely a civil function, or if it also had spiritual connotations, guarding against malevolent spirits or disruptions to the cosmic order during the vulnerable hours of darkness. The truth likely involves a blend of both reflecting the integrated worldview of the Aztecs. As the moon begins its slow ascent, casting a pale ethereal light over the silent plaza, the watchmen continue their rounds. Their rhythmic footsteps are a constant reassuring presence, a heartbeat in the quiet darkness. The great market, so vibrant and alive just hours before now, rests protected by these silent guardians. The towering temples of Tenochtitlan stand sentinel in the distance, their silhouettes stark against the starry sky, overseeing the stillness. You feel a profound sense of peace settle over the marketplace. The overwhelming energy of the day has receded, replaced by a deep ancient calm. This nocturnal vigilance ensures that when the first rays of dawn touch the pyramids once more, and the canoes begin their journey across the lake, Tlatelolco will be ready to awaken safe and prepared for another day of vibrant commerce. The market sleeps, but it does so under a watchful, unseen eye. The market plaza is now a vast, silent expanse guarded by the rhythmic steps of the night watch. The energy of commerce has receded, but for the Aztecs, the city never truly slept, at least not in a purely secular sense. As the moon glows softly overhead, casting long shadows from the towering temple pyramids of Tenochtitlan, you sense a different kind of activity, the quiet, profound presence of temple rituals occurring nearby. Imagine the subtle shift in the air. The lingering sense of market goods are now replaced by the unmistakable sweet and pungent aroma of Cacao incense. Burning, it drifts on the night air from the great temples that dominate the sacred precinct, including the Templo Mayor, which stands impressively close to Tlatelolco. These aren't the casual burnings you saw for blessings at the market gates, remember? Section 4. These are dedicated nocturnal offerings performed by priests in a world where every action had spiritual significance. You might hear the faint, distant sound of a conch shell trumpet, those captivating sounds from Section 21, its mournful call echoing through the stillness of the night. Or perhaps the rhythmic beat of a large drum, a low thrum, that vibrates through the very ground. These are the sounds of priests performing their duties, making offerings to the gods, ensuring the sun will rise again, that the maize will grow, and that the empire will prosper. It's a constant cosmic negotiation happening quietly in the darkness. These rituals are a direct link to the spiritual significance of market trade. The Aztecs believed that prosperity and commerce, bountiful harvests like the harvest feast in Section 31, and even the safe passage of merchants were gifts from the gods. Therefore, maintaining a harmonious relationship with the deities through offerings and ceremonies was paramount. The market wasn't just an economic hub, it was a sacred space where the material and spiritual worlds intersected. Historians still argue whether the Paktika long-distance merchants, those influential figures from Section 23 with the sharp eyes, had their own specific patron deities and rituals distinct from the broader Aztec religious practices, but their intense piety is well documented. You might see the faint glow of fires or the soft flicker of torches from the temple tops illuminating the silhouettes of priests engaged in their sacred tasks. They might be offering blood sacrifices, often from self-laceration, not human sacrifices in this context, mind you, burning valuable copal or presenting precious goods gathered from the market. Perhaps shimmering feathers from Section 7 or exquisite jade ornaments from Section 10. Each offering is a prayer, a gesture of reverence and supplication. A quirky fact about Aztec religious practices. Some offerings included sacred bundles filled with precious objects, often wrapped in layers of cloth and left in temples as permanent gifts to the gods. Imagine a divine gift basket filled with the best from Tlatelolco, meticulously prepared to appease the deities. It's like a cosmic Christmas stocking, but for the most powerful beings in the universe. The air around the temple precinct, even from a distance, feels charged with spiritual energy. It's a solemn, profound atmosphere, a reminder that beneath the bustling commerce of the day, a deep spiritual current runs through all aspects of Aztec life. The sounds of the market watch from Section 27 might occasionally cut through the stillness, but they are merely mundane counterpoints to the ancient sacred rhythms emanating from the temples. As you stand in the quiet market plaza, observing the faint glows and hearing the subtle sounds from the distant sacred precinct, you feel the profound connection between the Aztecs' daily existence and their complex cosmology. The very act of trade of daily sustenance was viewed as part of a larger divine order, requiring constant gratitude and ritual. This nocturnal dimension of the city illuminated by the moon and the sacrificial fires offers a unique insight into the Aztec worldview. The market may sleep, but the city's spiritual heart beats on ceaselessly ensuring the delicate balance of the cosmos. As you finally turn away, the lingering scent of copal follows you, a subtle reminder that even in slumber the gods are awake watching over Tenochtitlan. The faint scent of copal incense from the temples, those sacred places we just explored in Section 28, still lingers in the cool night air as you stand in the now empty expanse of the Tlatelolco marketplace. The physical activities of the day are long, over the goods secured, the vendors departed, and the market watch patrolling. But even in this profound stillness, the human mind, particularly the mind of a merchant, is never truly at rest. This is the time for dreams of trade. Imagine the thousands of vendors, artisans, and pochteka, those influential long-distance merchants we encountered in Section 23, who also served as judges, now settled in their homes across Tenochtitlan and its surrounding regions. As their bodies succumb to the deep sleep earned by a day of relentless work, their minds continue to hum with the rhythms of the marketplace. For many, sleep is not just a physical necessity. It's a mental space where the day's experiences are processed and the hopes for tomorrow are forged. You might imagine a common vendor, perhaps the one who sold you those vibrant chili peppers from Section 11. In his dreams, he sees towering piles of perfectly ripe tomatoes, an endless stream of eager customers, and cacao beans, that vital currency from Section 5, overflowing from his baskets. He might replay a particularly shrewd negotiation, reliving the satisfaction of a good deal, or mentally rehearse his sales pitch for a new batch of agave textiles from Section 6. These aren't just idle fantasies. They are the mental rehearsals of a life dedicated to commerce. It's like a medieval merchant's version of a business plan written entirely in dream logic. For the pochteka, the dreams would be even grander, stretching across the vast empire. They might envision perilous journeys through dense jungles, successfully bartering for precious jaguar skins. Those luxury goods from Section 18, or rare quetzal feathers, those magnificent feathered wonders from Section 7. Their dreams are filled with the intricate logistics of supply lines, the subtle art of diplomacy with distant rulers, and the immense profits that await them in the bustling heart of Tlatelolco. They are quite literally dreaming of empire. Historians still argue whether the Pochtecanat's dreams and prophetic visions were considered a legitimate source of information for their trade expeditions, or purely a psychological manifestation of their demanding profession. The air in these dreams would carry the mingled sense of the marketplace, intensified and perhaps distorted by sleep, the sweet perfume of exotic fruits from Section 12, the earthy aroma of pottery from Section 9, the sharp tang of obsidian from Section 8, all swirling together in a kaleidoscope of sensory memory. The sounds would be a muted echo of the day's roar, occasionally punctuated by the rhythmic drumming of a performance from Section 21 or the quiet counting of cacao beans. A quirky fact about Aztec dreams. The Aztecs had a sophisticated system of dream interpretation, believing that dreams could be messages from the gods or premonitions of future events. So a merchant's dream of a bountiful harvest wasn't just wishful thinking. It could be interpreted as a divine prophecy for a successful trading season. It's like having your quarterly earnings report delivered by a deity. These nocturnal mental journeys are crucial for planning for innovation and for maintaining the drive to continue the arduous work of trade. They are a space for ambition, to flourish, for challenges to be mentally overcome, and for the tireless spirit of commerce to recharge. The human desire for gain, for success, for a better life manifests powerfully in these silent realms of sleep. Historians still argue whether the Aztec social structure allowed for significant upward mobility through trade, or if such dreams of trade were largely confined to existing merchant families. However, the allure of wealth and status certainly served as a powerful motivator for many. As the moon continues its silent journey across the sky, illuminating the now empty marketplace, you sense the invisible tapestry of dreams being woven across the city. Each sleeping mind, each dreaming merchant, contributes a thread to the vibrant, ongoing narrative of Aztec commerce. This nocturnal work of the subconscious ensures that when the first light of dawn touches the pyramids once more, the energy, the ambition, and the meticulous planning for another day of trade, will be ready, revitalized, and eager to manifest in the waking world. The marketplace may be quiet, but its spirit of enterprise dreams on. The city of Tenochtitlan now rests in the profound quiet of the late night, its bustling energy temporarily hushed. The market plaza, once a roaring epicenter of commerce and culture, lies still bathed in the soft glow of the moon. The sounds of vendors, the shimmer of featherwork, the tang of chili, the arguments of bartering all have receded into memory, woven into the fabric of a day completed. This is night's calm embrace, the final peaceful culmination of our journey through the rhythms of an Aztec marketplace. Imagine yourself now no longer a bustling participant, but a quiet observer standing at the very center of the vast Tlatelolco Plaza. The ground which absorbed the footsteps of thousands is cool beneath your bare feet. The air is still carrying only the faint, sweet scent of distant night-blooming flowers and the ever-present, subtle aroma of lake water. The grand temple pyramids of Tenochtitlan loom silently against the starry sky, their massive forms casting long, majestic shadows across the sleeping city. The market stalls, once overflowing with goods, are now neatly packed away, their contents secured for tomorrow's trade. The wooden poles and woven mats, remember the evening pack-up from Section 26, are a ghostly outline against the dark, hinting at the vibrant activity they will soon support again. You can almost hear the soft, rhythmic patter of the night watch, those silent guardians from Section 27 as they make their rounds. Their lanterns mere pinpricks of light in the vast darkness, ensuring the city's peaceful slumber. The canoes that plied the canals all day, those early morning commutes from Section 2, are now moored quietly at their docks, bobbing gently with the lake's subtle currents. The telemims, those tireless porters from Section 3, are finally resting their powerful bodies, recuperating from miles of burden, carrying, perhaps dreaming of bountiful harvests or successful negotiations, as we explored in Section 29, the dreams of trade. This profound stillness is more than just an absence of noise. It's a deep, palpable peace. It's the quiet breathing of a city that has worked hard, traded honestly, celebrated joyously, and now collectively surrenders to the restorative power of rest. There's no artificial light pollution here, no distant roar of traffic. Only the vast, star-dusted sky overhead and the ancient, unchanging rhythms of the natural world. A mainstream historical fact for you. The Aztec reverence for cyclical time extended to their understanding of day and night, viewing each as part of a sacred, continuous cycle of creation and renewal. So this wasn't just bedtime. It was a cosmic moment, a necessary pause before the universe began its daily unfolding anew. The absence of constant external stimulation allows your own senses to quiet. You feel the cool breeze on your skin, hear the distant hoot of an owl, or the gentle lapping of the lake against the causeways. The air, surprisingly clean and fresh, fills your lungs, a welcome contrast to the heady aromas of the bustling day. A quirky fact about Aztec night sounds holes. Particularly the great horned owl were considered significant creatures in Aztec cosmology, often associated with darkness, the underworld, and sometimes prophetic messages. So that hoot you just heard, it might be more than just a sound. It could be a whispered secret from the night itself. Historians still argue whether the Aztec urban environment, despite its density, allowed for greater natural harmony than later colonial cities due to its integrated Chinampa system and meticulous waste management. Remember the Section 25. But standing here in the peaceful night, you feel a deep connection to that ancient balance. The immense scale of the market, which felt overwhelming by day, now feels grand and majestic in its silence. The individual sections where textiles glowed and obsidian glinted, where produce piled high and prepared foods steamed, are now just bare outlines waiting to be filled with life again. It's a testament to the temporary nature of human endeavors and the enduring power of the land and its rhythms. As you stand beneath the vast, star-pricked sky, feeling the profound stillness of the sleeping market, you are reminded that even the greatest empires, the most vibrant cities, find their moments of peace and quiet. The rhythms of the marketplace, from dawn's first light to night's calm embrace, are a reflection of life itself, a constant flow of energy, activity, and eventual necessary rest. You take a final deep breath, letting the tranquility of this ancient night wash over you. As the soft cloak of night descends, drawing our journey through the calming rhythms of an Aztec marketplace, to a close, we find ourselves enveloped in the profound quiet of a city settling into slumber. From the gentle lapping of canoes in the pre-dawn light to the final rhythmic steps of the night watch, we've witnessed a world pulsating with purpose. We walked amidst towering piles of fresh produce and marveled at the vibrant hues of textiles and feathered wonders. We felt the sharp glint of obsidian, appreciated the artistry of pottery, and learned about the unique currencies of cacao and gold dust. The air has been thick with the sense of sizzling street food, medicinal herbs, and the distinct aroma of edible insects. We've heard the squawks of exotic birds, the skilled negotiations, and the unifying power of music and storytelling. We observed the silent efficiency of market judges, the methodical evening pack-up, and the deep silent dreams of trade that fueled tomorrow's commerce. This journey through Tenochtitlan's great market has revealed a civilization of remarkable ingenuity, discipline, and a deep connection to both their natural world and their spiritual beliefs. Every interaction, every object, every rhythm of the day was imbued with meaning and purpose. Now the Tlatelolco Plaza lies vast and silent, a monumental stage awaiting the dawn. The great temple pyramids stand as timeless sentinels against the star-dusted sky, overseeing the sleeping city. The whispers of commerce have faded, replaced by the gentle breathing of a metropolis at rest, its vibrant life temporarily paused, ready to awaken with the sun. Let that sense of ancient peace of a world in harmonious balance accompany you into your own slumber. Close your eyes, let the calm stillness of the Aztec night wash over you and drift into peaceful dreams. Sweet dreams.